All right, everybody, good evening and welcome to episode 162 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This time with the correct microphone selected.
Yay!
This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week, we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and new special guest. And I'm Christian Dallas Smith. This weekend, I'm a player for PB Gateway. And this episode, we're going to preview the upcoming USXBL Championships and give our predictions for the event. As always, I am joined by USXBL commentator and host of After the Buzzer, Robert Jordan. Robert, how are you doing?
I'm doing super, and I am so happy to be here. I really look forward to the tournaments, but I look forward to this episode just as much because it's always good to kind of pick your brain and see where you're at and see if I'm as smart as I think I am, which is never an answer positive, you know.
I don't know. I think both of us have put all of our money into the Texas teams basket this year, and it hasn't done us that great. I'm gonna be honest. So it's not just you. I think I'm missing on most of my predictions as well.
You know, but that's the trouble with having a really successful series in a league is teams from out of state see what you're doing, see how well you're doing, and see all that big money, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to come in there and rob them."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we take their entry money. I guess we got to take the beating if they give it, right?
Oh yeah, I think hopefully by now the rest of the state has got the memo that hey, these teams coming in from Florida, from Louisiana, they mean business. So, yeah, hopefully this championship event, everybody's going to be coming with their A game.
I look for this one to be probably a little different than most because there are some teams in several chat rooms, I hear some teams at least talking the talk. And if you know some of the history of some of these teams, they're gonna try to walk the walk. So I'm still gonna bet on my Texas teams, and no disrespect to people like Gulf Coast and LA Extreme. I love those guys. They're awesome individuals. But you know, I am a homer. You know, I like my Texas teams.
All right, fair enough. So let's go ahead and get started. This one's brought to us by XTPL Events. So we're going to get started by looking back at the Violence Open, which was middle of July over at X Factor Paintball Park. Not nearly as hot as it could have been that weekend. And it definitely rained a little bit. But looking at the scores for the event, we definitely saw a few upsets across all of the divisions. So let me share my screen and pull it up over here. Should be this one. Okay. Oh, it should be sharing. There we go. Okay. So first looking at here, we might as well just do rankings. Looking at D5 X Ball. I mean, the Donut Shop Mafia, I think both of us called Donut Shop Mafia at the very least in the top 4, if not predicted to win the whole thing. We just see the value in Division 5 being a part of a program, top to bottom program. And it's paying off for these guys.
Yeah. Anytime that you belong to a family, a group, a system, unless somebody that's at the top of the top is doing it wrong, you're going to benefit from it from, say, a team that's just trying to learn from the beginning. Donut Shop Mafia out there in El Paso, those guys got it going on, and their D5 guys don't really.
Oh, I think you cut out there for a little bit right at the very end.
Oh, did I? Well, I said that the Donut Shop Mafia is a great organization, and the D5 guys do not play like D5 guys. So I look for them to continue on doing what they do.
Yeah, agreed. I think they had a great showing overall. And then the Gunners as well, like Gunners 187, another great program. They have a lot of success in D5 and D4. I don't think the Gunners 187 has won an event, but they're consistently at the top.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again, you got a good coach and you got a good system, and there you go. And back to the Mafia, you know, a third, a second, and a first, you know, they're trending the right way. and Gunners are right on their heels. So
Robert, we lost you again. Okay, it looks like we lost Robert for a little bit. Oh, Robert, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I keep watching the little scrolly things on your screen.
So yeah, I think just in general, like we've said since the start of the year in D5, programs showing you, the right way to play paintball instead of having to figure out 40 different wrong ways to play, is giving these guys a huge advantage. So let's go over to D4. LA Extreme D4 again at taking it all. These guys are on fire. They've won 2 out of the 3, and the third one was won, I believe, by their sister team in D4. So yeah, LA Extreme has a third, fourth, and a first. Gunners won the first one. Their sister team, D4 Black, won the second one, and then they won the third one. But they've had a consistent Final Four in all 3 events.
Yeah, and when you make Sunday and you basically make the Final Four every time, you're going to wind up at the top of the series. You're going to take home the money. But, the thing is, the Gunners, I don't think you ever count that program out. They stumbled a little bit when they had that 9th place in the second event of the year, but double points. So, look out. I'm not giving up on the Gunners at all.
Yeah, for sure. And then Zone Kids as well has been a team that's knocked out some of these other top teams. And same thing with other teams that are kind of in that top 8, like OKC Mutiny has a 2nd and a 5th. Obviously can't discount LA Extreme D4 Black. There's some landmines out there you got to be wary of. So yeah, this one's going to be interesting to see if the consistency of LA Extreme is going to continue.
Yeah, and there is another landmine out there that people are probably not thinking about is New Orleans Smoke, who've only played 1 USXBL this year. They got a 2nd. But they did have in San Antonio, a couple of their players were guesting with LA Extreme. So again, all out of that same pool of water, that right there is a landmine that people better watch out for.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk more about them here in a little bit. So looking at the elite division at the last event, Gulf Coast back on top. I know you made the comment that they've dodged the Beefy Boys all year. Beefy Boys did not have a good showing. And neither did other top teams like Grit. Elite down in 7th after making the finals the event before. I feel like the elite division outside of Gulf Coast Ragtag Army and then like Evil consistently getting 3rd place, it feels like there's a lot of back and forth in these rankings.
Yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, there's one team that separated itself from the pack. Now, a little or a lot, it's still separate, and that's Gulf Coast. TKO Super Gremlins always making Sunday, always being right there at them. They are the team that cost Gulf Coast the win at Giant during the second event. They're the team that knocked them out. So, and they haven't played the Beefy Boys all year. Luckily, they didn't play the Beefy Boys in San Antonio because they didn't have a great showing. But they have doubled down. Practice is going good. So I am super hyped for the Beefy Boys Gulf Coast game.
Yeah, for sure. One other thing I want to point out is that Balls Out ended up making the finals, and they're not at this one. Balls Out played very, very well through the center with their MVP player, Eric Contreras, and now this team's not going to be at the championship event. So how are the brackets going to shake up now?
Yeah, that's the weird thing with that was Eric actually played with the Beefy Boys at NXL Texas, played very well. And I heard through the grapevine, no direct knowledge, but I heard through the grapevine that Balls Out was having some financial stability problems with some of their players and just decided, hey, let's hit the brakes. Let's pause for a minute. So some of their players were looking for teams to jump onto this event. I don't know that to be necessarily true, but they're not here, so lends a little credence to it.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the rosters in a little bit, and I do see that so at least one of their players landed on another team. So yeah, that was so that's recapping last event. So now I want to talk about the changes that we are seeing for the championships. I mean, it seems like USXBL is going to pull out all of the stops for this championship event. Can you tell us more about what's in store?
Well, I mean, there's several things that are different. I mean, obviously we got double points.
Mm-hmm.
The elite division is all one bracket. That's going to be a little different. So scheduling is going to, I mean, the schedules are out, so you can see who's playing who. And, you know, like I said, we've got live cameras, live film or video on all the fields. We're working on getting commentators for all the fields. But I basically got blessed because not only will I have my partner in crime up there, Chris Lasoya, who's been with me all year long. God bless him for sticking with me. I don't know why. But Matty Marshall is coming to town, the voice of tournament paintball and really the paintball historian. I mean, there's not a lot he doesn't know about. And he will be up there all weekend calling all the games on the main field. So, you know, the good and the bad of it is Chris will tell you if he thinks you suck, but Matty will clean it up and make it sound like you're a genius.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's an incredible move by the upper management over at USXBL. Mike Hinman making sure that this is truly an experience that all of these teams are, and the individual players are going to walk away with some of these memories. Like they got to play on a field that was commentated by Chris Lasoya and by Matty Marshall. You're only ever getting that if you make the finals at an NXL event or if you go pro.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Now you get it here locally.
You get it locally. And not only that, it's going to be with all the new cameras they've got and everything, you're going to be able to clip it, make reels out of it. You know, one of the highlights for me playing was at the Ultimate Shootout a few years back. And there's Matty up there calling my games, you know? So, I mean, I go back and watch it. I've got it all saved. You know, it's just one of those things. If you're serious about playing, it kind of means something later on when you're almost done.
Yeah, absolutely. And then not to mention, of course, the prize. You've got the Series Championship prize, which we're talking decent amount of dollars. In addition to the prize that has been at each individual event throughout the season. And then, of course, you've got the trophies, the rings, the MVP awards, the reg, the headband, all of it's up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, the money's nice. Don't get me wrong. The money's nice. But my thing is, if you're going to play this game and you're trying to make a profit or trying to make money out of it, number one, you're crazy because it's not going to happen. And number two, you're going to be disappointed. But these things right here, that thing right there, those are bragging rights from now until your finger falls off, right? So that's what we do it for. We shoot each other with bath beads for fun, and we like to talk trash. And, you know, you win. It's only good until, you know, the next week when somebody tells me, yeah, you won that one, but what are you going to do next week?
There you go. Yeah, that's a sick one that you have, Mr. Commissioner there. I think others are going to try to,
there's new ones. There's new ones. There's new ones this year. They don't look this no more.
As you can see on my wall behind me, I've got some room on the end there to add a couple more. So
yeah. Well, the new ones look pretty sick. They have red, white, and blue jewels in them. They still do have the USXBL logo. They're a little different shape and have instead of having the year and stuff on them, they'll have the little paintball player on the side. You'll see them out there probably this weekend. They'll be modeling them off. So,
alrighty, looking forward to it. Let's get into it. This one is brought to us by the San Antonio 3v3 series. So, as always, we're going to go through every single roster, every single team, and every single player. So here, let me share my screen again. Let's see. Alrighty, so we are going to start off with Division 5, and we're going to go with bracket by bracket. So starting with bracket A, we've got the Donut Shop Mafia D5. And actually, I'm going to see if I can just load up a couple of these at a time here in a second. So, of course, we got the defending champions from El Paso, Texas, coached by Daryl Lewis. We've got Ivan Apodaca, Ruben Astorga, Abel Chavez, Chris Cintron, Alexandro Garcia, Abram Loya, and Alex Vega. These guys, I mean, they're the defending champions right now for a reason.
Yeah, and again, like we said earlier, they come from a program. They come from, people that's already played at that level and the levels above and learned how to do the things not to do and things that will help you do. So they're already one step up on that. Plus, they're very talented.
Mm-hmm. All right, and just so we can get through this, hopefully with any amount of voice left, we're gonna go through quickly because we will also talk about what we think our predictions are for the event as a whole. So up next, we've got Corrupt Crew New Mexico with Jared Bryant, Aiden Carter, Daniel Cedeno, Jesse Connor, Israel Esparza, Michael Madrid, Ricardo Medina, and Julian Ruiz with Bryant Mendoza and Isaiah Williams coming out of Carlsbad, New Mexico. Again, one of these teams that are looking to come take it all, steal it from Texas.
Yeah, and Jesse Connor's been kind of squawking a little bit on the internet, talking about New Mexico's bringing it in hot. So I'm looking forward to seeing if the deeds back up the words. But he's a pretty cool cat anyway, and these guys are actually – they play rather well, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right, bring it. Up next, we've got Low Expectations out of Paintball Knights in San Antonio, coached by Gregory Ayre. We've got Colton Bauman, Hayden Garcia, Jesse Luan, David Mejia, Christopher Moncada, Logan Peralta, Dante Perez, Nathaniel Reyes, and Wayne Warsham. These guys have been they've been a consistent presence at the San Antonio 3v3 series, and now they're getting together a bigger squad to come play D5 for, I think they played the last one, but I could be mistaken. This might be their first one.
Yeah, I don't know much about these guys other than the fact of watching some of the stuff that Sasha puts out from his 3v3. I love to see the guys proving that 3v3 does transition into X-Ball. So kudos to these guys and everybody that learns on 3v3. Come in, play 5-man X-Ball. You'll love it. I think it's the best way to learn.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like they did play the last one in San Antonio, and they finished middle of the pack. They got 16th out of 30. So pretty much right there in the middle.
Hey, that's not a bad first tournament. I'm telling you, I've done worse.
Yeah, especially in D5. It's not a beginner friendly division.
No. It's kind of a misnomer that D5 is quote unquote beginner. I mean, that's literally why D6 was invented, because D6 would show up and just get pounded the crap out of by these better D5 teams and wouldn't want to play. So D6 was put around so true beginners could go play against true beginners, get a year into your feet, and I think it's awesome.
Alrighty, up next we've got the Elite Outlaws out of Lubbock. You've got Joe Betancourt, Cummins Cole, Cash Dupree, Dakota Green, Cannon Lee, Logan McDougall, David Monares, Matthew Pinkham, Talon Taylor, Brady Tice, and Richard Welch.
Again, another program, Elite. Doug Bryan up there and Elite Paintball up there in Lubbock. I mean, they just crank out so many teams and so many people. When you think of the Panhandle in Texas, a lot of people assume that it's kind of barren and there wouldn't be something going on. But Doug Bryan has built a small empire up there, and man, they're moving up. I mean, they play in every division. So, let's go.
For sure. Rounding out bracket A, we've got MBR out of Edinburgh. You got Jorge Cardenas, Luis Diaz, Brian Frazier, Brian Longoria, Javier Ortega, Samuel Riojas, Austin Salazar and Francisco Silva, with Francisco Alatorre, Andrew Cuevas, Brian Garza, Joely Leal, and Elizabeth Martinez on staff.
Yeah, MBR, not familiar with them too much. Again, some of these D5 teams that play like in South Texas or far West Texas, I don't get an opportunity to see as much. But, they have been around. They're consistent. They're improving. They're getting better each event. And now might be the time for them to show up and take a big, huge bite and move up a little bit. But they're in a bracket that's not really friendly for them.
Definitely not.
You got Corrupt Crew and the Mafia. I mean, that's rough right there. But if you go 2-2, maybe you make it.
Yeah, we'll see. From what I can see, MBR has not played an event this season. So yeah, welcome to D5.
Yay.
Or actually, no, I take that back. They played the first two in. It looks like they fielded a team in D4, and now they're dropping down to D5.
Roster changes. You know how it goes. Right. Paintball's, it's hard to be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, up next, we've got the Meanies 71 starting off bracket B. We've got coached by Scott Stewart, a hell of a coaching pull for D5. You've got Colby Klaus, Ryan Green, Samuel Major, Wade Martin, Carson Martin, Mark Mercer, Tanner Shue, David Stamey, and AJ Woodyard.
Now, this is a team I know a little bit of something about. Wade Martin has built a system. Houston Meanies, Austin Meanies, Dallas Meanies, Meanie 71, Lady Meanies. I mean, there's tons of them everywhere. The thing is, he lost his whole D4 line, who now become North Texas Shockwave again. And he took it all in stride, took the high road, and just reformed some of the people that were there at that D4 level, dropped down to play D5. So I look for them to be, again, very consistent, very good at this thing. But again, they're in a little bit of a tough bracket. Last time they drew pretty easy. This time it'll be a little worse.
Yeah, I mean, they are the top seed in their bracket, but they've got some tough ones in there. I will say, yeah, I think that just having I think humility is the right word to be able to drop down a division mid-season. Knowing that it's probably the best thing for your team, instead of just thinking that, I want to play with the green belt on my profile instead of the blue belt. No, that doesn't mean anything. That what means something is the, second of 15, first of 20, that's what really matters out there. Yeah.
He's had a D5 team previously, and all he did was took some of the remaining D4 guys and bolstered what's allowed. He bolstered his roster, but they're fixing to point out anyway. This next year, the Meanie 71 will be a D4 team. So, enjoy your last one.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, up next, we've got the Gunners 187. You got John Butler, Giovanni Delgado, Connor Hildebrand, Luke Lopez, Brian Sweet, Gio Velez, and Mario Young. Staffed by Tim McGregor, Brian Padilla, Corey Sepulveda, Jeremy Schumach, and of course their coach Jesse Stevens.
Yeah, and again, locally, the Gunners snagging Jesse Stevens as a coach is awesome. Sit around with that guy and just talk paintball a little bit when he's away from the field, and you will come to understand the depth of this guy's knowledge. That is a great snag for all the Gunners. Thing is, he's a tough taskmaster. So, I'm looking for 187. They've had him for a few events. They're getting steadily better. I'm looking for big things, and I think this is going to be the year that they get in the podium, the top 4 for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. They've made a significant jump at the third event. After a 13th and a 22nd, they made 4th place at X Factor. So we'll see if they can keep that rolling.
I think they will.
Up next, we've got the Donut Shop Mafia D5 Sprinkles, one of my favorite team names. Coached also by Daryl Lewis. You got Isaiah Dungy, Andre Garcia, Kyle Garfield, Aldo Martinez, Benjamin Melendez, Jesus Cifuentes, Luis Tovar, and Ryan Urrutia.
Yeah, I love the name. I'm with you there 1,000,000%. I love the name. I would assume, just from the way they stack up, the other Mafia team being number 1 and these guys being middle of the pack, this would be the I don't want to say B team, but you yourself know when you have two lines playing in the same division, family fights are always the best fights, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you remember a couple events ago when LA Extreme and LA Extreme D4 Black went to the finals and beat each other up. It was an amazing match to watch. So I'm hoping at some point during this whole mix-up, the Sprinkles and the Mafia to get together and duke it out.
Yeah, here's hoping. Up next, we've got, speaking of LA Extreme, coached by Charles Langlois. And you've got Mark Boyd, Nixon Bullock, Clayton Edwards, Anthony Gillett, Brian Lawrence, Aiden Nichols, and Josh Purdue.
Yeah, and LA Extreme just won first place in NXL Texas in D5. So middle of the pack, are they? I don't know. I think they're growing and getting better. I think they're probably going to make a really good showing, which is another thing that makes this bracket so darn tough.
For sure. Up next, we've got the VM J19, which I think I believe is a mix-up of Veteran Militia and then the J19's crew.
Yes, the J19 crew is actually a former Marine guy that does it. So he has talked to Chris Rangel and got permission to use the Veteran Militia moniker. And VM J19 practice out of Hunt County Paintball. That's a mostly private field. They do book private parties and stuff. So Matt McKenzie, his wife, and some other guys, mostly all veterans. It's going to be interesting. I mean, they recently just came back to X-Ball at the end of last year, so they're still getting their feet under them, but they're learning on a fast pace.
All righty. And we've got a huge roster here. We've got John PBJ Irwin, Josh Evans, Brandon Kehoe, Missy McKenzie, Mac McKenzie, Paul Martinez, Logan Redding, Sean Riles, Jacob Shin, Nicholas Sunderland, and Seth Williams.
Yeah, Nick Sun's one of my guys from back in the day. Used to play on one of my scenario 10-man teams, and he's a player, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works out for him. I wish them all the best, but they are in a very tough bracket.
For sure. All right, and finally, rounding out bracket B, we've got the Lone Star Mercs out of Giant Party Sports. You've got Grant Cardona, Brancha Henderson, Jose Martinez, Rocco Mastaka, William Obar, Niles Obar, Austin Price, Justin Taylor, and Cameron Taylor.
Yeah, Grant Cardona, one of the Team Blank guys, normally over there with the Lone Star Mercs. If they were in any other bracket, I think they'd probably do a little better, but I think this is going to be struggle bus city for them. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, and I hope, you prove me wrong, but bracket B is that's a rough bracket.
Yeah, for sure. And something else I want to point out here with 29 teams, they usually take the top 40% or so. So it's going to be around 14 teams, I believe, which is only going to leave 2 wild cards, but there's 6 16 brackets. So these wild card spots are going to be very hard to come by.
They are going to be phenomenally hard to come by. I mean, but here's the thing: just win. Don't worry about, hey, if I get wild card in or if so and so beats so and so. Just go out there, do your thing, and win. Don't have to be by a lot. Just win. Winning cures all your ills.
There you go. Just win, baby, win. Okay. So now let me close all of these out. We're going to get over to bracket C. Let me open all of these. And those of you that are here in the comments, first, thank you so much for tuning in live. Who are you rooting for this weekend, or who are you playing with? Let us know. And yeah, we'll be watching to see if you can back up your talk. So let's share. All right, here we go. So bracket C, we're starting off with Elite Dynasty D5 out of Houston, Texas. We got Adrian Barajas, Jake Burton, Tyler Godwin, Jorge Martinez, John Pyron, Tariq Kazi, Patrick Ramstrom, and staffed by Brooks Price.
Hey, Elite Dynasty has one event prior this year. I look for them to continue to stay at the top of their bracket. They've got a couple of hard games in here, so it's not a given, right? But I really look for them to finish out, if not number one in this bracket, at least number two, no lower than that.
All righty. Bold claim there. So up next, we've got Texas Rampage out of Waxahachie. You got Surasit Adhad, John Bamberg, Ricky Bliss, Gerard Brooks, Cooper Daniel, Malachi Federson, Jeremy Leidick, and Ramiro Ortiz, staffed by Jimmy Burton and Jaden Leidick.
Yeah, that's another Dirty by Design team. Texas Rampage just finished second at the NXL Texas. Did a really, really good job. Played just lights out all weekend. The question's going to be whether Jay Bamberg and Leidick can continue on being as hot as they was at Texas. I mean, they got on a hot streak. So I don't know if they can, but I'm going to be rooting for them because I've known some of these guys I've known Bamberg probably 20 years. So I'm going to be rooting for them. But again, they're going to have to get on their horse and ride.
All righty. Up next, we've got PB Gateway, a V3 out of Arlington, practicing out of DFW Adventure Park and Paintball Fit. You've got Jacob Abatia, Patrick Alley, Gabriel Caro, Riley Dodson, Thean Mai, Logan McIntyre, Corey Peterson, Justin Russo, and Ross Valet, coached by Pritcha Sritongsu.
Yep, there's another one of those systems or groups or families or whatever you want to call them. PB Gateway. Someone I know that's actually on this show right now is actually going to be playing for PB Gateway. So, I mean, you yourself know firsthand, how good it is to be in a system, but PB Gateway has a good system. So I look for PB Gateway. This is going to be one of those brackets where I feel like probably one of the wild cards is going to come out. When you got Elite Dynasty, Rampage, and PB Gateway in there, there's a real good chance that there's a wild card coming out of this bracket.
Yeah, we will see. I think there's definitely some tough competition across all of the brackets. So up next, we've got Austin Oni Black out of Outlaw Paintball in Pflugerville. Jose Aguilar, Ben Alicia, Robbie Bennett, Pascal Sear, Keegan Gordon, Jacob Jackson, Brian Lester, Jordan Medford, Dylan Morgan, and Gabriel Steins with Dre Helms and Ed McKinnon.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar, again, with Austin Oni Black. I know the Gold guys pretty well. But again, another one of those systems that works and, brings you on and brings you along the right way. Is Austin Oni Black there yet? Probably not. But can they win on any given Sunday, any given Saturday? Anybody can beat anybody. We know paintball's fickle. So let's stand back and watch and see if the Austin Oni crew, if Tokyo comes over there and maybe throws in some good coaching words, maybe they can pull a win out or two.
I can tell you that they're taking this very seriously. Since I've moved up here to Pflugerville, I live about 5 minutes from Outlaw. So I have taken advantage of that. I've gone to drill every Saturday, and I've seen the Oni crew out there the last couple of weekends, having scrimmages between themselves with Austin Hype, and they've brought out pro player Jared Sherman to coach them over the last 2 weekends. So I don't know if he's going to be there with them at the event or if he's going to be coaching just the D4 line or what the involvement there is, but they are treating this seriously, getting ready for the championship.
Oh man, if you got Jared Sherman over there cracking the whip, Jared Sherman, Jesse Stevens, Jeremy Zimmerman, those guys right there, all of them begin with J. It's kind of weird, but those guys right there, I mean, that's some of the cream of the crop of Texas local coaching, and that's a great pickup.
Definitely. All right, up next, we've got Cerberus Paintball, who's been doing a lot of work over in the Splat Zone Trinity 3-man this year. Out of Richmond, you've got Larry Baker, Nicholas Da Silva, Guillermo Da Silva, Joshua Edwards, Kilo Estrada, Brent Olson, Victor Romero, and Caleb Wilkerson.
I love the name Cerberus. It's kind of messes with your mind a little bit, but I like it a lot. I don't know these guys. I believe they played the last event, the end of the pack. But again, when you're coming up against teams, Gunners, Mafia, Oni, and all these teams that have systems, you're going to be on the outside looking in until you figure it out. And it'll probably be D4 time before these guys can figure it out, because you don't get to play in D5 that long.
Yeah, and with the success that Cerberus has had over in the Houston three-man, they were the series winners for the D5 division and actually ended up winning a entry paid to the three-man division over at Cup as a result.
That's awesome.
So yeah, they are, they've had a lot of success in Houston. We'll see if they can bring it on the main stage here in Texas.
I hope they do, because I love to see teams that win at three-man expand their horizons and try to do something different and better, because three-man's a great learning tool. And I know they got a three-man pro, but between, D5 and pro, there's not a lot of three-man. I mean, obviously the Saturday 3v3, has got the open division, which is great, but it's not like there's a whole ton of leagues out there. I think there needs to be more, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. I do think it is the new wave that's hitting across paintball. So finally rounding out bracket C, we've got the Austin Meanies out of Outlaw: Christopher Atwood, Fabian Billings, Austin Cheney, Neil Day, Axel Leon, Christopher McCarthy, and Rick Molina.
Yeah, these guys used to play under a different name. I can't remember it right now off my head. I'm old. But they contacted Wade Martin because they'd had a few practices with him and said, look, we hate doing the paperwork, the money, the tracking down uniforms and doing all that stuff. We'd like to be a mini team and just let you handle it. Wade said, come on aboard. This is how we do it. This is where we practice. This is how we do. And so far, it's been hand-to-glove thing for them. I think give them another event or two, and I think they're going to be really good.
Alrighty. So that rounds out bracket C. Now we're going into bracket D, where we have quite a few newer teams here in this one. So we're going to start off with Texas Easy Company out of Outlaw, coached by Seth Catchpool. Got Camden Blake, Matthew Che, Tyler De La Garza, Cameron Dudley, Rakib Elahi, Zachary Hector, Halen Hernandez, Garrison Coleman, and Matt Pace.
Yeah, man, Texas Easy Company, number one in their bracket for a reason. They've been doing fairly well. Let me see what they got here. What did they do at the last one? They've been playing the King of Texas series. I know that.
Yeah, so they've been they're currently in 5th for the series. They have a 12th and 9th and a 14th, which just goes to show you like how chaotic that division has been all year.
Man, yeah, that's just crazy. The 12th and 9th and the 14th put you number one in a bracket. But like you said, when you get a bunch of newer teams that have no history, it doesn't take much to be number one, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right, up next, we've got Double Homicide with Joshua Navarro, another team out of Houston that's been playing a lot in the Houston 3v3 series. We'll see how they make the jump. You've got Ty Garcia Reed, Adam Lopez, Adrian Lopez, Jaden Malouf, Angel Montalvo, Caleb Musler, and Jesus Oliveras, with Christian Cash Cavazos, Jose Lopez, and Alex Perez on staff.
Yeah, this is another one of those teams. I love the name, Double Homicide. They did it so well, they had to do it twice. I love these guys. I think they should probably be a little better, a little higher up than what their results have. They play better than that. But those mental errors and boo birds, them yellow flags come around too often, and that winds up, killing their Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, looking at they didn't play the first one, but they have back-to-back third places in the second and third.
Yeah, and probably, really honestly, at the Giant event, they probably should have, again, no penalties. They'd have probably, first or second easily. But, at the end, they stumbled just a little bit. So if they clean that up, look for them to go all the way up.
All right, but again, remember, this is the second place team in their bracket. So this bracket is, the seedings really don't necessarily translate to the strength.
Yeah, that's again, no matter, I feel like their play is a lot better than their ranking. That's just my opinion.
Totally fair. All right, up next, we've got Houston Zone, coached by Bull Godfrey. You've got Joe Betancourt, Jesse Betancourt, Corey Brown, Luis Medellin, Yasuhiro Navia, and Jeff Navia.
Man, Bull's going to have his team ready to play. The Houston Zone, a very famous / infamous team in Texas for a lot of years through all divisions. They're always dependable. They're always there. And again, third in their bracket, kind of misleading. I feel like this bracket is going to get flipped upside down and be all kind of chaotic and crazy, and probably have a good shot at pulling maybe the other wild card out of this bracket. I mean,
all
I
right.
really think.
Yeah, strong prediction. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead, finish.
No, that's it. I mean, I just feel like that a couple of these teams here, while they're ranked lower, play so much better. And again, Bull, I mean, he comes prepared on all levels.
Definitely. Up next, we've got 210 Countdown with Nathaniel Coronado, Aiden Duran, Scott Hall, Aiden Hormier, Rylan Hormier, Zach McIntyre, Kyle Moore, and Jacob Schweitzer, with Paul Hormier and Jimmy Romana's staff.
Yeah, 210 Countdown City, all those teams, a couple of years ago were very highly ranked in all the divisions, and they've had some mass exodus, did some changing around and stuff, and they kind of dropped off a little bit. Now they're on their way to build back up. For the championships, I don't know, but we'll see. But again, it is a program, so they do have some, they do have help. They've probably been hitting it pretty hard. I don't know for a fact, but let's hope so.
Yeah, I can tell you on Sunday they had a big scrimmage going with the Gunners, and then I know Maxed and Grit were mixing in there. I don't know how often they got to play the higher division teams, but they were putting in the work on Sunday.
Oh, cool. That's great. I love to see it because yourself, a lot of times teams go through an upheaval in roster and, it just kind of puts them in the basement and they never get back out. They don't have the drive anymore. I love to see these guys still fighting for it.
For sure. Up next, we've got San Antonio Static out of Lost Paintball in San Marcos. You've got Jacob Chamblin, Irvi Garcia, Justin Gilbreth, Christopher Latour, Miguel Martinez, Jaz Ramos, and Ryan Wagner.
If I'm not mistaken, this team was playing 3v3s about a month prior to the last USXBL in San Antonio, and they decided, hey, we want to play X-Ball, formed it, got them some jerseys, said, hey, we're now Static, and did fairly well. I mean, not great, but for your first tournament, didn't embarrass yourself. I look for them. Again, this is another one of those teams. Nobody really knows them. They could really surprise you.
Yeah, we shall see. And then finally, we've got a name that has been a little bit since I've seen this name around. We've got the Tulsa Saints coming back in from Oklahoma. You've got Paul Dillon, Joshua Gassman, Brian Hardy, Cody Holcomb, Devlin Hora, Garrett Larson, Andy Nguyen, and Hunter Sistrunk. Yeah,
man, a decade and a half ago, I mean, I used to play against some of these Tulsa Saints, in D3, and then some of the NXLs and stuff, and then they just kind of went away. Hadn't heard much from them, and now they've got two different lines in, one in D5, one in D4. So, hey, welcome back to the USXBL. We'll hold the door open for you and let you come right on in, but be prepared. This is a rough league.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember playing the Tulsa Saints in D3 a couple of years ago. It's just it definitely has been a little bit since I've seen that name, and it's good to see teams and players making a comeback after a break.
I agree. I really like this. I really like this organization. If it's any way, shape, or form connected to the past, those guys were super cool. So let's go.
All right, and for our final bracket E, we are starting off with Austin Oni Gold out of Outlaw. You've got Sergio Avila, Joshua Bernhard, Joseph Black, Talon Bourne, Jaden Boynton, Hunter Lockwood, and Omri Valdez, was staffed by Mark Hernandez, Scott Lopez, and Tanner Monson.
Yeah, now these guys a little bit more well-known than the guys from Black. They make better, more Sunday appearances. Let's put it that way. I know that Tokyo is involved in coaching them off and on some. So I look for these guys. I think they're going to rank out next year anyway. I look for these. There's a reason these guys are number one in their bracket, and I think it's well-deserved.
All right. Yeah, and Austin Oni Gold currently sitting in 6th place. So, yeah, we'll see if they can capitalize with the high seeding here. Up next, we've got Shut Up They're Trying out of Dallas, Texas. You've got Hunter Andrews, Brandon Baca, Jeremiah Betancourt, Ryan Coker, Antonio Jimenez, Malachi Montgomery, Robert Ortiz, and Jose Ortiz, staffed, of course, as always, by Jerry Phillips.
Yeah. Is there anybody, at least in North Texas, that hadn't one time or another played for Jerry Phillips on shut-up teams? I mean, he always seems to get enough people in there, coaches them up, brings them up. They're doing big things. This is a team that will represent shut-up name pretty well. Will they finish number 2? It depends on which version of them show up. They show up sometimes, they play really, really well, and sometimes they show up and they're like middle of the pack. So let's just hope that this time they show up and play to their ability.
Alrighty, up next, we've got Splat Houston, coached by Jaybird Salas. You've got Isaac Hernandez, Nicholas Jimenez, Matthew Martinez, Ivan Borozzini, Joel Quintanilla, Roy Reyna, and Anthony Trevino. This is a team that, again, we've also seen over in the 3-man in Houston. Jaybird's handpicking this line to come over to USXBL.
I think these guys are part of the team at NXL Texas that was part Houston Hitters and Splat Hitters or something like that. I think that was one of the teams that combined. Did pretty well. Had a chat with them there. They seem to be really good and excited about coming to the USXBL, and we're excited to have them.
Alrighty. Up next, we've got the Lady Meanies with Leonardo Alvarez, Patrick Kapinski, John Lockwood, Ezekiel Lopez, Kira Little, Tiffany Morris, Jaden Ortega, Caitlin Riggs, and Leroy Woollett. Only, 3 out of 9 ladies on here, but it seems like they've revamped the roster for this one. Yeah,
originally it was all women. Wade had started a women's team trying to get into that WNXL mode of, bringing more women in. And it just became an issue with practice and, being away from family and stuff, mom stuff that a lot of these women have to do. So for this one, he bolstered it up with some men. But there's some people on there I know. John Lockwood, we call him Nubs because he's missing like fingers on one hand. And Kira, she's going to be, do not get in front of her because she's a mean girl. She will dump a pot on you just for the heck of it.
All right. And then up next, we've got Team Blank with Maddox Brooks, Harrison Gray, Alexis Higgins, Hector Juarez, TJ Morgan, Matthew Palmer, Chris Wolf, and Damian Wood, staffed by Ashley Hanks and Jory Privet.
Yeah, now this one is Team Blank is another one of those programs, came back last year. Well, actually, the first year that we did the USXBL in San Antonio, they showed up with 5 guys, 50 and above, all wearing black in San Antonio. What a mistake. But Jory is taking it, and now he has 2 lines of D4, this line. Alexis plays for Vibe, so she's dropping down to kind of bolster this roster a little bit, trying to give him some help. But if you want to play paintball, Team Blank will take anybody, and they will show you the ropes, and kudos to him.
And that is quite the pull. If you're able to pull a Dallas Vibe pro player down to your D5 team, that is a big advantage that you have.
Yeah, and she's a little intelligent thing, she refs a lot out at Fit. So again, she sees it from all angles. She's a little bit better than most people give her credit for because she's not really an egomaniac. She doesn't run around telling people how good she is. She just lets her gun do her talking. And I look for these guys to maybe throw in, upset the apple cart a little bit.
Okay. And last but not least, rounding out the bracket and rounding out the division, you've got North Texas Shockwave, coached by Billy Elmore, Ryan Blassingame, Jordan Elmore, Jalen Lilly, Christopher Smith, Chris Weatherford, Carson Weatherford, and Adam Webhoner.
Yeah, I'm so glad they took the North Texas Shockwave name back. Last time Jordan Elmore came back, it was the Dallas Vibrators, and I hated having to do commentary every 5 minutes saying, well, the Dallas Vibrators, I just no. But Bill Elmore, Jordan's dad, coached the North Texas Shockwave before. They were a feeder team to the early Wolfpack, which later became now Lead Audio, which was a feeder to AC Dallas back in the day. So they come from a program with a background. Now, Bill's been out riding motorcycles for the last 5 to 7 years. Does he still have the chops? We'll see.
All right, we shall see. So that does it for looking at the D5 teams and the rosters. So this one is brought to us by BEMRAPS. I want to get to our predictions, not just for the event, but also for the series. If you have not already seen the episode that I did with Chris Lasoya, a couple episodes back, looking at the scenarios for the series, go back and watch it. Basically, the main points are TDSM D5 is the only team that's in control of their destiny. The top 4, Sinister, Meanies, and Elite Dynasty, all are within striking distance, and then everybody else needs a whole lot of help.
Yeah, it's as far as seasons go, unless the Mafia just drops dead and somebody plays above their head, I just don't see it going any other way other than the Mafia for the series. Now, there are other teams that can come in here and win the event? Absolutely. And I'm looking for the Mafia to probably come in second, and I'm looking for the Gunners or, maybe even Texas Rampage to come in first.
Alrighty. So let's go bracket by bracket here. Reminder that there's only going to be 2 wild cards. And there's 4 16 brackets, so there's really no room to drop any games. Over in bracket A, I think you can't go against Donut Shop Mafia. They're the defending champions. They're in control of their destiny for the series. Can't go against them. And then as far as my second pick, I do not believe that the wild card is going to come out of here. But I'm going to go with Corrupt Crew.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. I don't think there will be a wild card out of this, barring some wild, crazy thing that we don't foresee, which could happen, but I just don't foresee it. Mafia and the Corrupt Crew for sure.
Yeah, there might be an upset alert with low expectations depending on how they come in. Earlier in the chat, Universal Laughing Stock says the low expectations did come in 5th at the second event of the season, so they've got it in them.
No, they do got it in them. But remember, this is double points and this is the championship, and it is a little bit different on the pressure. Pressure will bust you out if you're not prepared.
For sure. Up next in bracket B, give me the Gunners on top. I think they're going to be the 1 seed out of here. And then the 2 seed, I'm going to say LA Extreme, riding the high off of the NXL win.
That was definitely my pick too. Gunners 187 and LA Extreme. I got them reversed though. I think LA Extreme is going to win their bracket and the Gunners are going to come in second.
I will give the wild card here to the Meanie 71. They've got a 5th, 4th, and 5th all season, so very, very consistent for them. I do think that some of these lower teams might get beat up on, which the wild card usually has a team in their bracket that just everybody beats up on, and that gives that little extra boost of point spread needed to compete against the other 3 seeds out of the other brackets.
Oh, I completely agree. I think this is definitely one of the brackets that's going to give you at least one of the wild cards, and I do pick the Meanies as well.
Okay. Up next, we've got bracket C. This is where I'm a little conflicted.
Go ahead.
You've got some this is where you get real good play, but you've also got real inconsistent play. I mean, Elite Dynasty, they have a 1st and they have a 15th. I do think they are going to make it out of the bracket. And then as far as who else is going to be joining them, it gets really tough. Texas Rampage has been doing all right. They get into the playoff rounds. They usually lose first round. Yeah, I don't know. PB Gateway had a 6th place at the last one. And then Cerberus coming off of a pretty decent showing throughout the season in Houston, but I think the transition is going to be a little bit rougher into X-Ball, D5 X-Ball. I'm just going to say Elite Dynasty and Rampage.
I am going to say the exact same. I can't, but this is where Man, I'm like you. I'm conflicted because PB Gateway could very easily be the second place, or it could easily be a wild card. I just don't know. But I'm gonna say Elite Dynasty, Texas Rampage.
Okay. Bracket D. I think this is going to be the bracket where everybody beats up on everybody. This is this is gonna be a bar fight.
This is the Wild West. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Give me Double Homicide topping the bracket. I know they're the 3 seed here, but those back-to-back thirds. Give me Double Homicide on the top, and then give me in the 2nd seed. Man, I'm gonna call for an upset here. I'm gonna say 210 Countdown.
Woo! Really? Okay. Well, give me Double Homicide and Houston Zone.
Yeah, I think this bracket is going to be the most unpredictable out of all of them. Everybody's going to be beating up on everybody.
I think
the Tulsa Saints are a complete wild card here, coming in fresh for the season. You don't know, like, are these guys, like, are they players that have that D4, D3 experience, that have D-ranked over the years? They could come in and top the bracket. I really don't know.
Yeah, well, you're going to have a team or two here that's going to beat teams you think they have no business beating, and then you have teams that are going to lose to teams that they have no business losing to. This is going to be, just throw it in a bowl, mix it up, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right. And then you've got bracket E. You've got Austin Oni, Shut Up the Trying, Splat Houston, Lady Meanies, Team Blank, and North Texas Shockwave. I haven't picked my second wild card yet.
Nope.
I'm going to go back and say bracket D is going to be the second wild card team. I think you might have a 3-way tie at 3-1. I could very well see that.
Yeah, it's possible.
So I'm going to say Double Homicide, 210 Countdown, and Houston Zone are probably going to be no, Double Homicide, 210 Countdown, and Tulsa Saints. I'm going to just leave room for it. I think that's going to be I think Tulsa Saints might there might be something that we don't know about them. Although I am looking at their roster right now and I see some, I might be regretting my decision here.
Yeah, you're picking somebody as a wild card is always a crapshoot anyway. Nobody can foresee that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna stick by that. Okay, bracket E. Give me in the top 2. I'm gonna say Austin Oni Gold tops the charts, and Shut Up There Trying continues the trend.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Austin Oni Gold, Shut Up We're Trying, and then this is my second wild card. North Texas Shockwave is gonna shock the world.
All righty, I love it. Okay, so that does it for our prediction with D5. How do you think we did, y'all? Obviously, don't be afraid to let us hear it, but don't be just remember, you got to back it up too.
Hey, if we pick their team, they're going to love us. And if we didn't pick their team, they're going to hate us.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to get over it. All right, so that does it for D5. Now, one more thing I will say, like, D5 has consistently been a full division the last couple of events. So now we're getting into D4 X-Ball, which we have, again, it's fairly full. It's a little bit lighter than last time. We got 29 out of 38 teams here. Let's see. We're going to start with, we've only got 4 brackets here.
Yeah.
And it looks like they were kind enough to tell us how many teams advance in D4 and in D3, but it doesn't say in D5. I'm pretty sure it's the top 14. But yeah, top 10. So you've got, again, just 2 wild cards coming out of D4.
Jeez. Top 10.
And all of these brackets are 16 brackets, by the way. That's what? That is a brutal prelims.
This is where the schedule, if you're in a tough bracket and you skip that number 1 team, that can work to your advantage. I mean, literally the draw will make could make or break you.
Yeah, and looking like going back to D5 as well, like the Tulsa, like 1 does not play 6, 2 does not play 5, 4 does not play 3. So Tulsa Saints don't play Texas Easy Company. North Texas Shockwave does not play Oni.
That's just,
it's gonna be big advantages. You know,
There-
Static
yeah.
also not playing double homicide, I think is gonna be a big advantage for them too.
Oh, absolutely, because I think that's the sleeper team in that bracket.
Okay. So getting to D4. First we've got the defending champions, LA Extreme D4, coached by Jacob Johnson. Again, just a crazy pull for coaching, but D4 is like that. You kind of, it's the arms race is fully underway. So you've got Neil Bourne, Josue Hernandez, Seth Lelou, Carson Pellerin, Conrad Pellerin, Gurjit Sandhu, Quentin Stevenson, John Valero, and Colin Waltz.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not going to say anything negative about these LA Extreme guys because they put stuff in the water down there. I mean, LA Extreme, D4 Black, no smoke. I mean, just team after team after team, always in Sunday, always on the podium. They're doing whatever it is they're doing. It's working, and I'm not going against it.
All righty. Up next, we've got Austin Assault out of Outlaw Paintball, coached by Connor Sanders. You've got Matthew Bandow, Donovan Chapa coming over from what did they go by? Coming over from Cap City Charge, Donovan Chapa. You've got Brandon Dismukes, Zachary Hagee, David Hegelson, Matthew Odom, Jordan Reese, and Sean Serene, staffed by Ashlyn Hoffman. So the addition of Donovan Chapa down from Cap City Charge, that's a big plus here.
It's a huge plus, and I am not going to say anything negative about Austin Assault. They always swear that I don't like them because I hold them to a higher standard because they beat me in NXL Texas 2 years ago, so I'm not bitter. But Bondo, who I consider to be a good friend, just had a great showing playing with the Beefy Boys in D3 at NXL Texas. So, again, playing down in D4, I think they're going to shine. I really look for Austin Assault to do very, very well.
Okay. Up next, you've got Greed, coached by Jason Bonner. You've got Tokyo, Mikey Clow, Chris Odom, Christopher Rivas, Nick Shows, Alex Sparacio, Colt Wallace, and Logan Williams, with Scotty Allen and John Samuel on staff.
You know, Bonner not playing hurts them, but then they pick up Happy Colt, you know, and you got Nick Shows. So I don't really think they lose much, right? I mean, other than maybe some consistency and experience, because Bonner's played for 20 plus years, never taken some time off. So I think this is a good crew. And I think, you know, with the sneaky Happy Colt out there, I think they're going to do some things that's going to surprise some people.
Yeah, and I think Colt's been playing with Evil most of the year, right?
He has been playing with Evil most of the year, and that just goes to show you how hard it is to get on the field. You know, that it's hard to get on the field with that team. I mean, because they are loaded.
For sure. So, yeah, big pickup for Greed, adding Colts. Up next, we've got TKO, and this is the Houston TKO, not the purple one. This is the blue one. So you got Chris Ballou, Ryan Croson, Edward Horbelt, David Howell, Ryan Stewart, David Suggs, Jacob Thompson, and Terrence Williams. Interesting. We've got no Pate Smith here on this one.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual. And what little bit I know about this team, I learned because I called them the wrong TKO on a webcast. I got corrected very, very, very fast about that. So won't make that mistake again, but these guys are good. Consistently always play a lot of paintball. They work hard. They grind. They do it up and down a little bit. But again, this bracket right here is Murderer's Row.
All right. Up next, we've got New Orleans Smoke. I know they've been posting. They got Jonathan Chavez. Great pickup for the coaching role. You've got Austin Arguelles, Aiden Jackson, Ronan Molina Salas, Blaine Perkle, Jared Font, Taylor Smith, DeVille Smith, and Jordan Williams, with Jeremy Cleveland Brown Miller on staff.
Yeah, they reached out to me about a month ago looking for a coach because another coach had fallen through for whatever reason, family, life, you know, stuff happens. And we were struggling, talked to some of the fit guys, and luckily Chavi was available. Mike Uriel was out there fixing to go coach. I mean, there was just These guys are willing to do whatever it takes. They want to win. And again, Murderer's Row here. This is going to be a bracket where everybody's probably going to beat up on that last team.
Yeah, we shall see. And speaking of that last team, we've got Stranger Danger, who doesn't have anybody on their roster, so I can't talk about you.
Well, it's Mr. Anonymous, Mr. Nobody. What's his name? All those guys. Again, hey, they paid their money. I guess we hope they're going to show up. There's nothing.
And we've got some intel here in the chat actually coming in from Bondo. Says it's Hydra Kids.
Is it the Hydra Kids? Well, it wouldn't, man. If it is, it just adds another thing, another layer to the bad bracket that this is. But
man, that certainly changes things if that is the Hydra Kids. That bracket becomes much more dangerous. Now we're gonna continue on with our talk about the D4 teams over to bracket B.
Bondo,
so let's
tell
pull
everybody
up.
How wonderful I am.
Alrighty. Up next, we've got the Gunners out of San Antonio. You've got Jamari Faison, Antonio Fernandez, Michael Leon Guerrero, Nick McKenna, Brian Padilla, Rafael Rivera, Shane Scarborough, Corey Sepulveda, and Kelson Walker. Staffed by Arthur Faison, Tim McGregor, Aaron Shull, Jesse Stevens, and Brian Sweet. Interesting. Shane Scarborough, who I believe was playing with Gulf Coast Ragtag Army at the last one, coming down here.
Yeah, we'll get to Gulf Coast in a little bit, but I mean, they picked up some Texas boys and dropped one down. I mean, again, when series finals is in, people borrow from other teams, hey, help me out, brother, help me out. Let me help you out. So it doesn't surprise me. It just makes this team stronger and stronger, and if that's possible. But again, this is, to me, one of the two perennial front runners. I mean, I think this one and LA Extreme D4 kind of have separated themselves from everybody else. So they're number one in their bracket for a reason.
Right. Yeah. And Shane is local to San Antonio, so that move does make a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
So up next, we've got Austin Hype. I just saw these guys out at Outlaw at that scrimmage. I actually gave them a few pointers. They said, hey, we're down to learn. We're just trying to figure it out ourselves. So, we'll see how these guys take what I taught them very briefly this past weekend, see if they any of it stuck. So we've got Eric Gonzalez, Joseph Hernandez, Devin Johnson, Miles Jones, LaPaul McAllister, Trevor Merkel, and Adam Rudisil, staffed by Justin Vasquez.
Man, at the very first event of the year, I saw this team work so hard and come up short over and over and over again. And I feel like they just need that help, like a little bit of a coach, or just get in with some other team to get them over that hump. I mean, physically and athletically, they're there. They just need to get some experience behind them to give them some words of advice. It's hard to coach yourself while you're playing. So, but I look for them to be knocking on the door here before long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've got the pieces, bits, and they've also got some experience in the past, back when they were part of the Austin Hypnotic Camp a few years ago.
Yes.
Before that, a few of these guys were with the ATX Kings. So they've got, traces of winning there in the past. Let's see if they can draw on that past experience and get back to it. Okay, so next we've got Houston Homicide, coached by Josh Navarro, Raimundo Avelar, Matthew Avelar, Tristan Broussard, Christian Cash Cavazos, Clemente Crispin, and Kyle Wren, staffed by Alex Perez.
Yeah, I like the Houston Homicide guys. And again, this is another team I think plays a lot better than their ranking shows. So this bracket to me is starting to look a little more like a murderer's row itself from all these South Texas teams.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to point out, only 6 players on their roster. This is going to be a significantly cooler event, but I think 6 is pushing it.
Yeah, 6. Man, you show up with 5 or 6 people, unless you're all like, 18 something and, weigh 170 pounds and can run like the wind. I just don't foresee that. I mean, it's just too rough to me.
I mean, on top of that, sometimes the layout just doesn't click for you. And
Yeah,
you need someone who has that different play style, that different way of seeing the game to be able to like take over and lead the charge. And so sometimes you have to go to the well for your bench, but if you don't have a bench, then everybody better be showing up.
Yeah, you can't give everybody a diet of, hey, run to the snake on the break, run to the snake on the break, because eventually people are going to figure out how to stop it. And the one play that you have that was working won't work. So if you can throw them a different person, a different look, hey, this guy pulls up short, this guy shoots left-handed, things like that matter.
All righty. Up next, we've got Countdown City. You've got Cody Cawley, Jonathan Gager, Benjamin Herrera, Jacob Hurst, Alexander McDougall, Joshua Oliva, Jimmy Roman, and Robert Stewart, with Ryan Berry and Aaron Williams on staff.
And again, Countdown City, just like 210 Countdown, kind of in a mid rebuilding process, but they're still here. They're still fighting. They have a winning history. I mean, they've had strong showings in the past. So let's see if they can do it again.
Yeah, for sure. And then up next, we've got Cold Blooded out of Bryan, Texas, coached by Clint Johnson. You've got Jackson Barfnecht, Perry Chance, Timothy Curtis, Caden Jurkowski, River Lacey, Cole Newman, Oliver Norris, Nathan Phillips, Cliff Shivers, and Cooper Weaver.
Yeah,
staffed by Jason Carter and Joseph Miranda. Sorry, go ahead.
No, cold-blooded, man. Perry's got these guys, they're literally right there on the cusp of doing big things. They do real well for a couple events. They're like high Sunday players. Then they'll stumble back a little bit. But since they picked up Clint, it hasn't paid off in a first place yet, but they're moving in the right direction consistently. Look for Clint to work with these guys and have them ready. I look for big things from Cold Blooded.
Yeah, for sure. And Clint's also been helping the Cold Blooded camp out over in the Houston 3v3 scene. So Clint getting more and more familiar with this group of players. We'll see how much that time is starting to pay off.
Absolutely. Again, when you pick up a coach, it's always great to pick up a coach for an event. Hey, because it's, everything is X's and O's. But when the players, when the right X will fit in the right, the right square peg will fit in the right square hole, makes it so much better. So this will be his third event with him, I think, third USXBL. So they should be trending on the right way.
Alrighty, and last but not least, we have again the Tulsa Saints with Coach Amanda Langston. You've got Timothy Belair, Blennett Bryan, Grant Davis, Jacob James, Richard Langston, John Swanson, and Jacob Weber. Oh, I think we lost Robert there.
Had him for a while.
Robert, you cut out there for a little bit. Can you start over?
I said it's great to see him back. We talked about this a while ago with the other Tulsa Saints. They have a winning history, but they've been gone for a while. So let's just see if they can recreate their magic. I'm excited to see them back, but again, you're 23 for a reason.
Right. Yeah, I do think that the game has actually changed quite a bit in the last 5 years, mostly due to the skill level of the players in these lower divisions. So we'll see if they come back thinking that they're all that. They're still the D3 team that they once were. I think they're going to come in for a rude awakening, especially when they have to play like any of these other teams. Thankfully, they don't have to play the Gunners, but it's still going to be a rough one.
Yeah, you're going to have to play Homicide and Hype and, and Cold-Blooded. I root for them. I hope they do well, but let's just be for real.
For sure. All right. Up next in bracket C, we've got the Houston Zone Kids, another top team here. You've got, again, coached by Bull Godfrey. You've got Christopher Cormier, Rob Guerra Jr., Michael Gutierrez, Furman Hernandez, Nolan Hua, Avant Knight, Ethan Murrell, and Nicholas Nero, staffed by Rob G and Adam Hitchcock.
Yeah, I like Ohua. I like to see him when he's out there because it gives Crystal Soya fits about trying to pronounce his name. I don't know why, but it does. And so it just tickles me to death.
Yeah, and I know that Chris was
again, Bull's
saying
gonna have
very
his team ready. They did.
Oh, Robert, there we go. Sorry, we had you cut out for a second. But I was just saying that Chris was saying very, very positive things about this team.
Yeah, and they're a good team. So, one of my favorite teams to watch. I really like some of these guys. and they're consistent. Again, it's a zone team. What do you expect?
Absolutely. Up next, you've got Outlaw Anodizing Green with Luis Ayala, Kyle Fink, David Harden, Cooper Harrison, Rodolfo Jimenez, Trenton Martin, Tyler Middleton, Caleb Owens, Dom Rivera, and John Schaff with Philip Middleton and Cedric Rios on staff.
Yeah. Again, it seems like about 90% of the teams in Texas all belong to a program, which I guess is the way to go because Outlaw is another big program, and Outlaw AP Green's been doing really well. The number 2 in their bracket for a reason. I think they'll probably finish, I think being a Sunday club should be almost a given for them.
Right. And I think pulling in David Harden down from, I believe he's playing D2 in the NXL for the most part this year. So pulling in David Harden is going to be a big gun off the break for them.
Yeah, and it's amazing how just that one person, again, talented person, but bringing in that one person can change the whole makeup of your team, not only from a skill perspective, but from a confidence perspective.
Absolutely. Up next, we've got the GNL crew, the Gunners second line here. You've got Alex Amos, Cameron Blanco, Rylan Fontana, Ashton Roller, Gail Salty, Justin Vasquez, and Dane Webb with Eric Amos, John Butler, Arthur Faison, Brian Padilla, Corey Sepulveda, Robert Shelton, and of course, Jesse Stevens on staff. So GNL crew, again, with Cameron Blanco here, but they're also pulling in Dane Webb over from the Texas Titans, who did not field the line for this championship. So Dane, a big presence off the break here. We'll see if, with the experienced players between Dane and Cameron, who have regular practice with upper division guys, see what they're able to bring back down to this line.
Yeah, with Dane and Cameron, both of them coming in. Cameron, a couple years ago, superstar, young man, kind of shine, moved all the way up, played with Jackpot. Dane, again, I think this is one of those things that's going to take GNL crew and move them up the ladder, so to speak. They're going to be chasing the big brother team. And again, at some point, maybe we'll get a gunner on gunner crime going on, and that'll be something special.
For sure. And I do want to shout out Gail Salty here. I got to guest with him over in the WCPPL at event 3, and he came along for the ride and he played really well. And I think that event, for him being a regular starter over on that snake side, he's starting to learn more about what it's like to play Sunday ball. So we'll see if he can take that experience and just continue building upon it.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing to do. And again, when you can go play other leagues, other areas, WC, anything MXLS, whatever you can, see different competition, different looks, different styles, because each region plays kind of their own style. I mean, around North Texas, it's, zone up, get a body up, then start making moves. Other places they play, all gas, no brakes. So it's good to see other things.
Yeah, especially in California. I feel like the one thing that they know how to do well is bunker someone.
Yeah. In Texas, we tend to overshoot them after they're dead. In California, they tend to overshoot them when they go stick them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Up next, we've got PB Gateway V2. You've got Robert Abatia, Jaime Guevara Jr., Bryce Klein, Joshua Napier, Then Nguyen, Chloe Sereno, Jet Tang, and John Theodore.
What can you, when you talk about a gateway team, whether it's D5, D4, Elite, it's pretty much the same conversation. They all practice the same. They all run basically the same plays. It's just interchangeable, just different levels of skill. And I think that this team is going to be ready. I think they're better than their 14th ranking shows. And again, late in the season, teams get better and better and better. And, usually for the championships, you get a few standout teams. I think this is going to be one of them.
Alrighty. And I'm so sorry, but I hear my dog's been spamming the request to go outside. So I'm going to start off with this next team. I'm going to run down real quick to let her out and then come right back. So up next, we've got the Cold-Blooded Pandas. A lot of players that are also on the Texas A&M line. So Coach Jason Carter with Robert Allen, Maxwell Carter, Handon Cherry, Brandon DeGrave, Braylon DeGrave, Marco Garza, Lance Grenovicki, Joshua Nelson, and Benito Ortiz III with Zach Beavers on staff. Be right back.
Yeah, and the cold-blooded Pandas, Texas A&M teams. Oh, and welcome to In the Pits with Robert Jordan. No, I'm just kidding. No, the cold-blooded Panda guys, again, another cold-blooded team, continually doing the same thing, part of a program. If you follow the NCPA Texas A&M team, these guys are really good. So we look forward to seeing the cold-blooded Pandas do pretty well. I know that they're missing some of their other guys. I know they're missing David Cuervo and some of the other people that are playing, but congratulations. Oh, welcome back. I was just filling in for the stud.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for that, Robert. So yeah, that is cold-blooded Pandas, and I realized I didn't share the tab. So there's the picture of the roster there. So yeah, cold-blooded Pandas, another team that's been staying busy throughout the season, throughout the three-mans, getting all of their, a great thing about three-mans, you're getting more playtime for these newer players, and being able to enter multiple lines in these three-mans, I think has helped the Pandas a lot. We'll see how they're able to bring it back all together here in D4.
Yeah, they're gonna be pretty good. They play, like I said, a lot of A&M guys play. They play the NCPA, So again, getting different competition, maybe it's going to help them out.
All right, and last but not least, in bracket C, you've got Ronan with Wesley Mayer, coaching out of New Mexico. You've got Ty Black, Dominic Garcia, Ratty Huff, Michael Sines, Joel Sparenberg, James Torres, Jaime Torres, and Christian Torres, with Jonathan Patience on staff.
Yeah, not really familiar with Ronan as far as their record or how they played, but again, I think that they're going to be the team that's probably going to get beat up on, because this is a pretty hard bracket with the Zone Kids, GNL Crew, Gateway, Outlaw AP Green, and the Cold-Blooded Pandas. It's going to be a tough time, but never say never.
Right, and I know Ronan has been a team that's been I've seen them in the past. It looks like the last they did the XTPL all last year. They did it for the first part of this year. They played Champs Challengers. They played Bunker Fest. They played a little NXL here and there. But it's been a little bit since we've seen them with their last event showing in April at the XTPL. So we'll see how they come back.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if it's the same crew, better crew,
Right. Excuse me. Now we're getting to bracket D, the final bracket in D4 X Ball. So let me make sure that I am not. Oh, I lost my spot here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So we are going to start out with OKC Mutiny. Yes, OKC Mutiny, and I'm sharing the correct screen here. So you've got Gabriel Cornwall, Jonathan Gillian, Jaden Miller, Jacob Thomas, and Zachary Wasser, with Corey Field on staff. That's a hell of a pickup right there, and Brittany Miller.
Yeah, in San Antonio, Corey was up there, and him and Chris were talking about it. He's like, yeah, I'm coaching OKC. And I was like, holy crap, that's a great pickup. Again, local D4 team comes up and snags a pro player and putting in not only one event, but now this is 2 events in a row. I mean, I'm impressed.
For sure. Up next, we've got LA Extreme D4 Black, coached by Paul Heads. You've got Jalawarens Andrews, Johnny Jinzialewski, Robert Jensen, Guy Jones, Logan Laborde, Grayson Manning, Justin Mattern, Dakota Medina, Jacob Plaisance, and Lennox Shaw, with Mindy McConnell on staff.
Yeah, little brother LA Extreme. I don't know if you can call him little brother anymore. I mean, they've got to where they make the top 4 Sunday, at least semi-regular. So I don't know if you can call him little brother anymore. But again, I'm going to be hoping for some of that, family crime there. It'll be kind of fun to watch.
All righty. Up next, we've got Austin Oni out of Pflugerville. You've got Jordan Avila, Caleb Clow, Wyatt Zerlaben, Mark Hernandez, Tanner Hunt, Ryan Lyle, Caleb Marrero, and Christian Seed, staffed by Sergio Avila, Scott Lopez, and Tanner Monson.
Yep. Here's the big Oni team. They're going to lead the way. Austin Oni, again, better. I think they're going to be a little bit better than the 12th ranking, but They're also playing against LA Extreme and OKC Mutiny, so they don't have a really easy bracket. So look for them to be probably somewhere in the middle of this bracket.
Okay. Up next, we've got Shut Up or Trying with Tyler Ashworth, Brandon Daniel, Taylor King, Matthew Kress, Jarek Lewis, Paul Mart, Zach Rosen, and Austin Stull, with staffed by Jerry Phillips.
Yeah, there you go. Shut Up or Trying. This will be the shut up team that if they show up, they'll do well. If they just kind of mail it in, they won't. We got to keep them from getting penalties. And I'm speaking to you, Captain Major Paul Mart, Mr. Draw a red penalty for trying to wipe. Yeah, you got to see the video. I'm going to put your business out on the street. He tried to wipe a shoulder hit off on the bunker, and it looked like a drunk man trying to disco dance. It was so bad. I was ashamed.
You can't pull one on these refs. Definitely not.
No, but I mean, a blind man would have seen this one. So if Paul Mart cannot get a major, Shut Up or Trying absolutely has a chance to go all the way with this one.
Isn't Taylor King like a high-level ref as well?
Yes. Well, no, that's Taylor Wagner.
It's Taylor Wagner. Okay.
Yeah, Taylor King is he's
okay.
He's a great person. He's just a so-so paintball player. That's right, Taylor. I said that. No, really, Taylor's actually a pretty good player.
Okay. Up next, we've got Countdown City 210 with Daniel Estrada, Paul Holmier, Isaiah Ibarra, Kendrick Lofton, Cesar Ortiz, Cesar Zamora, and Martin Zapata, with Jimmy Roman on staff.
And again, Countdown City 210, they bringing in people like Daniel Estrada. They're trying to rebuild a roster for an event. I don't know how it's going to work out for them because, again, no practice time that I know of or can speak of. How well will they bond together? How well will they gel together? I mean, it's always possible. But, again, LA Extreme, OKC Mutiny, Oni, Shut Up. I think we need to keep it real here and just hope you get to go 2-2. I really think that's probably where you're sitting.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll talk about who they play in a second, but they don't play LA Extreme D4 Black. Big plus.
Yeah, that's a huge duck.
All right.
You don't have.
All right. Last but not least, we've got TKO Valetudo, coached by Scott Stewart. You've got Jad Alia, Faisal Alia, Cole Edwards, Chaden Hofpair, Wahid Kazim, Joseph Labastida, Chuck Neagle, Andrew Ramos, and Julian Solis-Pierce, with Mark Cantalino on staff.
Well, oh my God, TKO Valetudo. Now, I know that, besides having the most dangerous man in paintball, Chuck Nagel, on there, okay, you got Cole Edwards. Now, think back to the days, some of the end of the MPPL days, the Dallas Jets, and even before that, Justice League for all you people around here. Cole Edwards was the man on those teams. Took some time off, moved to Austin, recently moved back to Sanger. So yeah, he's back to playing paintball. Is it one event? I don't know, but that's a big pull. It really is.
And an even bigger pull is the coach, Scott Stewart. That's a man that you want on the clipboard.
Yeah, I mean, he's really intelligent. He's really gifted. He's tall. He's good looking. I hate him. I really do. God.
All righty. So that does it as far as the teams here in Division 4. So let's go over our predictions. So as we said over on the episode with Chris Lasoya, LA Extreme D4 has a pretty decently big lead. They secured the series by making the finals. The Gunners are the closest team. If they win and LA Extreme does not make the finals, they can steal. Houston Zone Kids, OKC Mutiny, and LAX Black are all close as well, but they need LAX to stumble either in the semifinals, possibly even earlier. So I'm going to say, as far as the series goes, the Gunners are in close enough striking distance. All they need is a win for LA Extreme to not make the finals. So if the Gunners can meet with them in the semis or quarters and knock them out themselves, that's certainly a path to the championship there.
Yeah, as far as the series goes, I mean, it's down to 1 or 2, and it's just how soon will they play each other? and who's going to have the better game that day. And honestly, I couldn't tell you right now because I don't know the path of how it's going to shake out when they play each other.
Right. So as far as the bracket predictions, there's only 2 wild cards. All of these are 6-team brackets. Bracket A is a very, very dangerous bracket with Stranger Danger, aka the Hydra Kids, coming in at your bottom seed, and your 5th seed is New Orleans Smoke.
Yeah, I'm just like, this would be my luck. This would be the bracket I would get stuck in, because again, there are no pigeons or ducks in this bracket, right? None at all. But who do you have?
I'm going to say that the biggest advantage probably goes to Stranger Danger for not having to play LA Extreme in prelims. The second biggest advantage goes to Austin Assault for not having to play New Orleans Smoke. I think New Orleans Smoke versus LA Extreme D4 in the prelims is going to be the match to watch. The loser of that game very well might not make it out of prelims, just knowing that Stranger Danger is in there, and could very well be the sleeper that comes in out of nowhere just for this one-off. This is a very difficult bracket to predict. I can very much see a world where one of these top teams does not make it out of prelims.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part. Where it's so crazy is when you're talking about teams like TKO, Greed, you don't even really mention them in the conversation of making it out. I mean, it's nuts to me.
I do think the loser between LA Extreme and New Orleans Smoke might get eliminated in prelims. I think Austin Assault will beat, not having to play New Orleans Smoke. I think Austin Assault will probably beat Greed and TKO. I think they're going to beat the Hydra Kids? The Hydra Kids / Stranger Danger, they are the one that messes this whole bracket up.
Well,
I could see a 3-way tie at 3-1.
Hadley Korsman from Vibe. I mean, they've got Hadley Korsman from Vibe. They've got so many people there. The thing that hurts Greed is that Bonner's not on the field, and that's a big loss of experience, and that's their quarterback 90% of the time. So
yeah, I mean, you can't count Greed out either with pulling in Colt Wallace.
No, but he's generally not the quarterback, and that's the voice. Then the guy that runs the on-field game is gonna. I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna pick both the LA teams. Why, Jesus Christ. Jesus. I mean, no matter which way you step, you're going to step on a landmine.
I'm going to say there's a 3-way tie at 3-1 here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be LA Extreme, New Orleans Smoke, and Stranger Danger.
Yep. I agree. I think those three are going to be 3-1, and it's just going to be who beat who in the prelims and who has the margin. God dang. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a rough bracket.
Very, very rough. Yeah. And sorry, Austin Assault, you guys have done well, and you don't play New Orleans Smoke. I think
that's Austin a blessing, Assault, though.
You're going to have to beat. You cannot drop a game against Greed or TKO, and you have to beat at least either LA Extreme or Stranger Danger. And do I think that's going to happen? On paper, I think that Stranger Danger is going to come in very strong. So yeah, those are my picks. I'm going to say New Orleans Smoke, LA Extreme D4, and Stranger Danger in a 3-way tie at 3-1. With New Orleans Smoke taking the matchup over LA Extreme.
Okay.
But fair enough. So yeah, I'm going to say New Orleans Smoke takes it over LA Extreme, but loses to Stranger Danger. Stranger Danger, probably, I mean, with this logic, Stranger Danger could go 4-0. Since they don't play LA Extreme. LA Extreme loses to New Orleans Smoke. New Orleans Smoke loses to Stranger Danger. So you got the 4-0 and 2 3-1 teams there. That's my prediction.
Okay, well, I'm not. When it comes down to the two New Orleans teams, I'm not going to pick one over the other because the last time I did that, I got jacked up by all of them, and I don't want to get beat up at the event. So let's just put it this way: an LA Extreme team from that park will be in there in the winning thing.
Okay. All right, bracket B, you've got Gunners, Hype, Homicide, Countdown City, Cold Blooded, and the Tulsa Saints. Gunners on top by a mile. The question is, who's the second team that's going to be joining them? I'm going to give it to Hype, with potentially the Tulsa Saints on upset alert, but I think it's going to be Gunners and Hype.
Well, I agree. Gunners by a mile. And then I'm going to pick my upset for the tournament is I'm going to pick Cold Blooded. I think it's time for them to make their move, even though they're without their perennial snake guy, David Cuervo. I still think I'm going to have confidence in them. It's a flip up between them and Houston Homicide for me, but I'm just going to pick them because they're my boys, and I'll admit I'm a little bit favoritism.
All righty. Up next, we've got Houston's Own Kids, Outlaw, Anodizing Green, the GNL Crew, PB Gateway V2, Cold Blooded Pandas, and Ronin. Zone Kids are going to top the bracket. Outlaw Green, or actually, Outlaw and Zone. I think Outlaw is going to win the bracket, but I think I think Zone's going to win the bracket, but definitely Outlaw in second. And then, do I think the other wild card is going to come out of here?
Go ahead.
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Houston's Own Kids, Outlaw, AP Green, in a close one over PB Gateway V2.
All righty. And lastly, we got bracket D, OKC Mutiny, LA Extreme, D4 Black, Austin Oni, Shut Up We're Trying, Countdown City 210, and TKO Valetudo. I'm going to pick my second wild card to come out of this bracket. It's going to be LA Extreme, D4 Black on top, followed by TKO Valetudo, and then OKC Mutiny.
Woo, man. That's see, God dang. This one's the hard one for me because OKC Mutiny, Black, Shut Up, and then TKO is the hard ones for me. So LA Extreme, D4 Black on top, OKC Mutiny for second, and then I'm going to just say Shut Up We're Trying for the wild card.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so that does it. And again, that one was brought to us by Mariachi Aguilas de Oro for the D4 brackets and rosters, and brought to us by Paintball Kumite for the predictions and the series winner. So now we are here where a lot of money, a lot of chaos has happened, a lot of very good paintball throughout the year. We've got the Elite Division, and I'm actually going to be showing off as we get through the schedules. The USXBL was very nice. Shout out to Ryan Polito, who made the little title cards for each team and their schedules.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Which I think is going to be it's going to help us with the reference here, and I think we're going to see some teams definitely had more fortunate schedule draws than others. So we are going to go. We're actually going to start from the bottom here to the top on the Elite Division rosters. And this one is brought to us by TexanHemp.com. Shout out to Jared Sherman. So starting from the bottom, we've got the Bricktown Bucks. You've got Christopher Davis, Derek Fine, Tyler Hitt, Adam Jester, Mason McIntosh, Ryan Powers, Dennis Stevenson, Cole Stubby, and Aaron White, with John Hubbard and Scott Stewart on staff.
Can I get a Bricktown? Yeah, those guys are, man, one of my favorite teams. I know all these guys personally. They're on the struggle bus.
Mm-hmm.
I think what it all boils down to is the amount of quality practice that they get up in Oklahoma. There's not a vast amount of teams like they are down here in the North Texas, South Texas area. And so I just don't think they get to clock in enough quality practice other than drills and doing their own. But one can hope and one can dream, man. I will be rooting for these guys. I'm not gonna lie, but they are gonna be on the struggle bus.
Yeah, I mean, there's levels to this, right? You've got some teams in this division that are playing up, that would be playing up in a regular D3 division. You've got some teams that are actually D3, and you've got some teams that are D2 that they're like a very good D2 team that are playing.
Go.
Yeah. And some players in here even that are, making regular appearances in semi-pro. So I think Bricktown, yeah, they're not on the same level as some of these other teams, unfortunately.
But they're in every fight. That's the thing. Other than I think the Beefy Boy game at the first event or second event where they got blowed out, they're like right there in it. They're just it's like that last little bit of the hill they just can't seem to get over.
All righty. Up next, we've got PB Gateway, coached by Pritchard Sritongsuk. You've got Richard Axtell, Isaac Espinoza, Nick Philby, Chris Harrison, Chris Rangel, myself, Larry Tran, and last minute pickup, the bad guy, Will Weems. So this is a team that I think we've got some dangerous pieces on this. The question is, are we going to gel? How quickly is that going to happen?
Yeah, this is the one, minus Chris Rangel, man, this team would be struggle bus city. But
I don't know. You've got the MVP from event 2, Will Weems, on this as well.
Yeah, formerly of the Beefy Boys. And again, if it gets down to a one-on-one, I mean, he can pull it off. Don't get me wrong. But man, Chris Rangel, love him, hate him, whatever you want to say about him. The man is fast and he is a master of the corner. So, again, your paintball IQ is off the chart. And yeah, I can go on all day, talk about how good all y'all are. But the question is going to be what you said. Will you come together and gel? And who's going to be calling, keeping all of y'all in line? That's going to be the interesting part, because I don't want to say anything, but there's a few egos on this team.
Well, we shall see. So up next, we've got the Donut Shop Mafia, coached by Darrell Lewis. You've got Abraham Apodaca, Parker Boys, Fernando Davenport Ramirez, Jacob Ortega, Daniel Schaubner, Justin Sepulveda, and Randy Singh.
I do not know why the Donut Shop Mafia has struggled all year long. I mean, they already, got the best looking jerseys around. They're a great group of people. They travel well. Their family travels well with them. I can't really put my finger on a reason why they've been struggling, but they have been struggling. The thing is, at any moment, they could turn it on, not only win a game, but they could win a bracket. So let's just cross our fingers and hope.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I was saying before, there's levels to this, and I think TDSM is a good D3 team, but there's some good D2 teams in this bracket. So
yeah, that's the difference.
So yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Up next, we've got the BDC, who I think have been playing very well this year. All things considered, they've got Jared Bourge. I mess it up every time. You got Jared. You've got Travis Green, Matthew Jenkins, Alec Pisoni, Brandon Powell, Matt Pregel, and Colin Stewart, with Mark Boyd, Ben Challenger, Joseph Labastida, and Trenton Mason Salinas on staff. You've got Ben and Trenton on staff for you. That is, you've got the think tank on you.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. I mean, they're heavy in the staff, but they're one of those teams that didn't go outside and bring in a high-ranked D2 player. I mean, they decided to do it on their own. Kudos and props to them. But when you're playing a team that's pretty dominantly D2 or high D3 with some D2 players, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So respect, but it's going to be a long day.
I mean, at the same time, though, if you go out and execute a game plan with that kind of staff against a team that has better players, but maybe not the coaching to go along with it, that could mean anything.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, these guys play good paintball. They are a good team. that's the really thing when you look at these rankings. The sad part is there's some really good D3 teams that are lower ranked that at any other event would probably be dominating, at least be in the Final Four. And now they're like in the bottom four, and it just doesn't seem fair.
Yeah. All right. So again, I'm going to go check on my pup real quick, but I am going to introduce this team. So you've got the Outlaw AP Sharks, coached by pro player Kaido Warner over from the Hurricanes. You've got Cade Blackwelder, David Cuervo, Hudson Dunphy, Aaron Friedman, David Ratchford, Brandon Rath, Joseph Scalia, and Luke Webb with Philip Middleton on staff. Be right back.
And again, this is another team that, big program, Outlaw Anodizing. They added some people this year. David Cuervo come over from the Cold-Blooded Pandas. Honestly, I think they're another one of those teams. Very good D3 team. Probably in any other tournament series, probably be in the top 4. But here, because of all the next level D3/D2 teams, they wind up being in the middle of the pack. Now, can they do better? Absolutely. Just got to avoid the penalties and stop a little bit of the disagreeing in the pits. I've heard some arguments going on, things that tend to tear a team down. So I look for Outlaw AP Sharks to do a little bit better than normal. But again, another D3 team that would be dominating in most other places. Just have to see what they do this time.
Yeah, for sure. And several of these players have been playing D2 throughout the year. You've got Aaron Friedman, David Ratchford, Hudson Dunphy. All of them have been making appearances in the D2 plus division over in the NXL. And
Hudson has played with Gulf Coast previously this year.
Yeah, again, they've got the pieces. We'll see what kind of day they're having, because I think, oddly enough, I do think the Sharks are somewhat layout dependent.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, up next, we've got Elite. From Lubbock, you've got Coach Chris Vandervald, Lawson Benedict, Doug Bryant, Eric Contreras, pickup from Balls Out, the MVP from the last event, Kyle Coulter, Charles Dean, Kellen Jones, Travis Patton, Benjamin Schrader, and Connor Varley, with Joe Betancourt, Matthew Pinkham, and Andrew Tressel on staff. Looks like some of these players merged with the NXL Maxed team to create this line heading into the championship.
Yeah, the Elite guys have always been heavily connected with Charles Dean, so that doesn't surprise me at all. Picking up Eric Contreras is going to really be a big help. I think with the layout that I think is coming, I haven't physically seen it, so I don't know 100%. But Eric and Charles generally play basically the same position, so they'll be able to feed off each other. And you, as we were talking about earlier, when somebody gets tired of one diet, you give them another player that's a little different look. I think this is going to be an event where Elite can get back to that Sunday club shine.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, Elite, they've done it in the past. They're adding Eric Contreras, MVP level center player. You're adding a little bit of depth here by adding Kellen Jones and Travis Patton. Which team is going to show up? Are they going to be able to figure out the layout? Because I do think Elite, they're all very fundamentally sound, but if it takes them too long to get going on a layout, then they might not have enough time to come back.
Yeah, that's the thing with them. They're slow starters. They're methodical. And like we all know, sometimes you just got to hit the gas, throw caution to the wind and just go out there and win a game. And they're more like, hey, we do A, we do B, we do C. That's how D comes to being made. So let's hope that the layout works for them and they do good.
Yeah, and I do want to say it looks like they're missing some players that have been with them throughout the year. Here, let me pull up just so that I am saying actual players' names. So you're missing you're missing Cal Leach, who's been played with them. You're missing Nick Myers, who's been a starter for them in the back center. You're missing Parker Bromlett. And then Perry Reed, I believe, has been out with an injury for most of the season, who's been very good for them in the snake in the past. Having to pick up some of these players from Maxed, we'll see how they gel in.
I agree. Losing some of your starters, adding new people before an event, most of the time doesn't work out too great.
Well, we shall see. Up next, we've got Grit, who's running a very light line. You've got Nick Gomez, Aaron Hitchcock, Dallas Luke, Taylor Risenmay, John Trevino, and Ryan Wynn. I don't believe that this is actually going to be the roster. I don't know if John Trevino is going to be playing with them, but I also heard that there was possibly going to be another pickup that's not on here. But I'm not going to say any names until it's confirmed.
Yeah, I've heard some of the same things, but, again, I look at this team. I look at the history of this team. I look how they played at San Antonio, not this year, but last year, coming in second. And I just can't help but wonder what it is. Why are they on the struggle bus so much? Because fundamentally, they're a very good team.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever it takes to get over that hump, I hope this is the event that does it. Because, man, I'd like to see these guys, I'd like to see them win something.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, they're not the same team they were at the start of the year. They don't have Kevin, who was playing very well for them in the snake. I believe Pierce Comio is going to be playing with them. I'm not positive. They no longer have Anthony Bosmans. Again, I don't know if John Trevino is going to be playing with them. I know he wasn't at practice this weekend. He was over in California playing with his WC team, the NorCal Kings. This could just be like a very light line. I believe Brandon Peters will be coaching them as well, though. So we'll see. Don't expect more than 7 players at most.
Yeah, they always run a light line. I don't know what the deal is there, but lean and mean, right? That's the way to go.
For sure. Up next, we've got the Beefy Boys, coached by Jonathan Chavez. You got AJ Abar, Daniel Diaz-Quirolo, Cameron Peterson, Joseph Petrozelli, Joe Solomon, Patrick Simons, and Zach Turtle Wilkes, with Corey Callahan, Derek Garza, Luke Puchalski, Tyler Shepers, Thorne Smith, and Gabe Sutherland on staff.
Yeah, this is another one, that team that likes to do it themselves. They really want to. They don't want to bring in players. They want to just build from within. Props to them for that. They won the second event. They are the only other team to win an event this year in Elite other than Gulf Coast. And they haven't had to play Gulf Coast all year long. Somehow the scheduling hasn't worked out until now. They are pitted against Gulf Coast, and I am here for it. I can't believe I get to be up in the booth with the best seat in the house with 2 legends and call the game on a team that I started many, many years ago. So this is, man, awesome for me.
Love it. All right, up next, now we're getting into the top 4. We were in the top 4. That was Beefy Boys at 4th. At number 3, we've got TKO Super Gremlins, coached by Colt Lukow. We've got Alex Agosto, Jace Boyd, Mark Brown, Elliot Ocon, Malik Zawalha, Omar Simmons, Jel Stewart, Peter Stokes, and Ernesto Vasquez.
Yeah, man, Ernesto, nasty Ernesto. And then my twin, Jace Boyd. I love to watch these guys play. Omar, man, that's my snake guy. To me, this is one of those teams that has a hard time outside of their circle of friends getting any kind of respect from. People tend to overlook them. They are the only team that knocked out Gulf Coast this year. They have last year in the finals, they were second. At the second event this year, they were second. I mean, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it looks like we lost. Oh, Robert, you cut out there for a little bit right after always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
I just asked, when will they get their turn to be the bride?
Yeah, I think so the last one, so they've had a 4th, a 2nd, and then a 6th at the last one. I will say, last one, most of the fit guys were out for Colt's wedding. Colt's back now. Colt's back at the helm. behind the clipboard. So I do think TKO is a team that executes game plans very well. I think I look for this team to figure out a way that works to win on this field early on, and then everybody else is just going to have to adapt.
Yeah, once Colt gets a look at one, maybe two games played, doesn't even have to be his team. Once Colt sees a couple of games played, he'll figure out if his game plan is going to work or not, and he'll make adjustments on the fly, probably better than 90% of the people out there. So that's going to be the difference, because when they didn't have him in San Antonio, it was a huge letdown.
For sure. All right. Up next, we've got the number 2 team. You've got Elite Audio, Video, and Lighting. It says Greg Pauly is their coach, but I know that Justin Doman loves to play games here on the roster, so we'll see who actually shows up. So he's got David Bible, Charlie Christie, Taylor Connor, Justin Doman, Christian Lambert, Rory McQuality, Gabian Mundo, Tyler Speece, and Luke Staley, with Mark Baginski, Candace Doman, Casey Harris, Courtney Jekyll, AJ Molinari, and Jeremy Zimmerman all on staff. I know for sure you're not getting all of those people on your staff.
No, Jeremy Zimmerman will be there for sure. And maybe Casey, I don't know for sure. But other than that, that's pretty much it. And, of course, Justin's wife will be there. Justin's probably going to coach the team himself. That's what he generally does. Unless Casey shows up, it's going to depend. If Casey's there, then Casey will make the calls. But this team right here, they've been practicing, and they are really, really, really just to the point of losing their mind. They can't seem to get around Gulf Coast. This is their opportunity, and if you're ever going to win one, this is the one to win. And since my grandson plays on this team, I'm going to be rooting for this team a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, I mean, Tyler Speece has been coming back into form here. He recently made the return to the pro division, playing with Diesel. I believe he's going to be with Diesel again at World Cup. So, getting Tyler Speece in is a big plus. I know it looks like he's going in the place of Jeremy Zimmerman. I mean, Jeremy Zimmerman will play. It doesn't matter if his health-wise he's at 100% or at 40%. Jeremy Zimmerman is going to try to play through it. So I think putting Tyler Speece in there in that high division player slot is going to be to their advantage.
Yeah, the only way to get Jeremy not to play hurt is to take him off the roster completely. Otherwise, you're going to have to fist fight him because he's going on the field.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And last, but the most this season is the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army, coached by Cyrus Geringer. You've got Chase Baxter, James Capers, Nathaniel Combs, Kyle Enriquez, Omar Montoya, Henry Portillo, James Rigsby, Jacob Robertson, Emmanuel Rodriguez, Matthew Strohmeyer, Jonathan Turner, and Ashton Wright. So lots of Texas players coming in. And then on staff, you got Stephen O'Mara, Bobby Sayedeth, and Dan Strickland. No jet ski on the roster.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there is a glaring absence of one of the most versatile, active players on the field. Everybody's always, why do you always talk about jet ski? Why do you always talk about jet ski? Well, because he's out there doing things that nobody else is doing. He's running through, bunkering people, moving up, moving left, moving right. But don't have him. You got Henry Portillo. You got Combs. They're not hurting for talent. Trust me. Jonathan Turner knows how to build a team. Plain and simple.
Yeah, for sure. And then like bolstering it with Omar Montoya and Ashton Wright as well. Ashton, I believe, was on Team USA this year as well. And then Omar, he's been around, upper level D2. Used to be on, I believe he was on Grit back when they were semi-pro a bunch of years ago. So you're losing jet ski, who I think was the best player on the field at any given point. But the players that you're picking up are definitely going to help with the depth here. You're bringing 12, and that's a lot of new bodies to come in. So it's going to be more of a question of off the field. Are they going to mix well in the pits, and are they going to have the chemistry? Because they certainly have the sum of their parts there.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. There's a lot of, again, we play paintball. We're all a bit of an egomaniac. A lot of egos in the pits to manage on the fly, especially when you're bringing in new people who are not used to the vibe. So My question is, will the layout help them? And how well will they gel with the new roster? Again, but until I see them do something that's that'll hurt them, I'm not going against them. They've proven to be too good for too long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only thing that I can even say is that like they had a winning formula and now they're making a big change. So is that winning formula going to continue, especially without jet ski and adding so many new bodies here from Texas, players that haven't played together with them, right? I mean, all of these players that they're adding from Texas are very experienced. I'm sure they could slot in. Everybody knows how to play paintball. They know the fundamentals. How long is it going to take?
Yeah, jet ski pointing out really hurt them, but again, you play for shock and you do well with shock, you're going to get so many points that you can't play in this league no more.
Absolutely. All right. So here we've got the bracket. As you said earlier, everybody's in the same bracket. So we are going to go based on, we're going to look at everybody's schedules independently. So I'm actually going to do it by pulling up Facebook here and going through all of the title cards. So we're going to share this. Okay, so starting with TKO Super Gremlin schedule, they've got the Bricktown Bucks, they've got Outlaw Anodizing Sharks, they've got Elite, and they've got Evil. I think that's a fairly good schedule for them overall.
Yeah, I think it's a fairly good schedule overall. The only game I think they're going to really struggle super hard with is going to be the Evil game.
Yeah, I think Outlaw Sharks and Elite certainly can be strong.
Yes,
I think
they can.
I do think Bricktown Bucks is a game that you're going to run up the score a little bit. That's just the reality of it, right? Bricktown Bucks have been struggling all year. So for them to get them on their schedule is a big plus.
Yeah. And again, Elite can come up and win. Outlaw can come up and win. That's not to say they wouldn't. But when you look at how consistent they've been all year long, TKO somehow, somewhere finds a way to win. And they do have Colt Lukow, which you cannot discount that at all.
For sure. Up next, you've got the Donut Shop Mafia. They play Elite. They play PB Gateway. They play the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army, and they play Grit. That's got to be one of the hardest schedules.
My boy, I feel so sorry for my Donut Shop guys. I mean, this to me is a very, very number one Gulf Coast, right? Then you got Grit, PB Gateway, then Elite. This could be a very, very, very bad day for the Donut Shop Mafia.
Mm. But at the same time, though, we did just say Gulf Coast has made a huge change. Grit's running with a very thin line. PB Gateway has pieces, but again, they're somewhat of a throw together. Elite's been inconsistent this year. So it all depends on what version of these teams all show up. I think on paper, if everybody plays to the level that they're capable of, it's going to be a tough day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's always a shot in the dark, because you're basing it off history. But of course, history doesn't have to repeat itself. So it's just, best guess, based on available information.
Yeah. And the other thing is TDSM usually likes to play a very slow game.
They do. They are slow to start, which again, that kind of plays into the Elite game. The Elite game could wind up being a literally 1-2 game. I mean, it literally could be 2-0, 1-0, 2-1, somewhere like that, because both those teams slow starters.
Yeah. Up next, you've got PB Gateway, which is the team I'm with. We did not get an easy schedule. We got Evil, we got the Donut Shop Mafia, we got Grit, and we got Elite. So Evil starting out, Evil's going to be our toughest game. I think that the lessons that, you want your toughest game to go first. That way you can learn those lessons and apply those later to your later matches. You think you're going to get your best look early on. So I mean, again, we have the pieces. It's just how quickly are we going to gel?
Yeah. Well, number one, I think the hardest game you have is definitely going to be Evil. Following that, I think maybe Grit's going to be a hard game for y'all, but I really, honestly, with the people y'all have, I don't foresee y'all struggling too much. I think all your games will be close. I really do. I think all your games will be probably 2-point spreads, but I think you'll take, 3-1.
Fair enough. All right, up next, we've got Grit. You've got PB Gateway, Gulf Coast Ragtag Army, the Beefy Boys, and TDSM. I mean, this is a very thin Grit line. Yeah, they've got the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army. They've got Beefy Boys. I don't know. I think it'll be very tough for them. I think the players that they do have are very strong. It's just, are they going to have the gas to go the whole day? And what happens if one of their players isn't on? Who do they have to go to?
Yeah, see, that's the struggle part for them is they don't have a deep roster, and they're going to play Gulf Coast early. Well, no, they're going to play them at 2:20.
Yeah, that's their third game.
So, yeah, you're going to play the Beefy Boys semi-early, which is probably going to be a little bit of a benefit to you because Beefy Boys tend to play, zone up, get a body up, pick people apart. I mean, Grit, I think, is going to run over Donut Shop Mafia, so probably maybe 2-2, but that's about it.
All right. Up next, you've got the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army. They've got BDC, they've got Grit, they've got TDSM, and they've got Beefy Boys. I think they're going to just steamroll BDC. I think that BDC being their first game is to Gulf Coast's advantage because they are a newer line. You want some time to figure out how your new pieces are going to fit into your roster, and having your easiest game first and probably your easiest two games, first and second, are going to be to their advantage in figuring out how their roster is going to fit together.
Yeah, they're getting I don't want to say easy, but they're getting the less challenging games out of the way the first. Then they're going to go play Grit, who's going to give them a bigger challenge than the previous two games. And then they're going to finally have to run in with the Beefy Boys first time all year, which will be their toughest game. But really, God, I hate saying this because, all the Beefy Boys are going to be mad at me. A win in the prelims. I think the Beefy Boys are going to have to get a taste of Gulf Coast and maybe beat them in the final somewhere. But I think Gulf Coast goes all the way 4-0.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough to imagine anything else, right? There's a reason that there are 1-3-1 finishes all year. So up next, you've got the Sharks. You've got BDC, TKO, Super Gremlins, Evil, and the Bricktown Bucks. Outlaw, that's a very good schedule for you. For a team that's been somewhat inconsistent, you draw BDC and you draw the Bricktown Bucks. I think that is very, very favorable for them. They just cannot lose big to Evil. And TKO, they can run up the score if you keep running into a wall. If you keep trying the same thing and it keeps not working, then you can find yourself in a big deficit against them. But they have to keep it close against Evil.
Yeah, that's going to be the trick. You got to keep it close against Evil, and that's assuming that Evil shows up and is ready to play and plays the game that we know they can play. Evil has a tendency to want to run away with stuff, but the Sharks can go ahead and run one up on BDC and the Bricktowns, keep it close between the next two, and again, you have a shot. You have a shot in making it.
Yeah, definitely. So up next, we have Evil. They drew PB Gateway, Outlaw, AP Sharks, then Elite, and then the TKO Super Gremlins. Evil, they dodged the Gulf Coast Hurricanes, the Ragtag Army. They've dodged the Beefy Boys. On paper, the TKO is probably going to be the hardest game, not just because TKO's results throughout the year, but also stylistically. I think these two teams are very different from one another. But yeah, Evil should have no problems making playoffs.
Yeah, they shouldn't have any problems. And stylistically, TKO is a problem for them. Omar Simmons is in the snake for TKO. Luke Staley's probably gonna be in the snake for Evil. So the advantage there, I don't know which way that goes. Probably Staley's way. Jace Boyd is going to be the wild card for TKO. Does he have a good showing? Can they use him in the correct spots? Sometimes they misuse him. In San Antonio, once they moved him to the middle, then they started having better production. So we'll see how it works, but I don't foresee Evil struggling too much. They'll make it to the show for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Up next, we've got the Bricktown Bucks. They got the TKO Super Gremlins, BDC, Beefy Boys, and Outlaw AP Sharks. I think this is probably the best schedule that the Bricktown Bucks could have hoped for. Maybe drawing TDSM as well could have made it a little bit better. But this is the best schedule they could have hoped for. If the Bricktown Bucks are going to do anything, it's going to be with this lineup.
Yeah, I think they have a shot at beating BDC and playing TKO Super Gremlins. Now, this is what'll get me in trouble here. Is I think first game out of the box is usually Bricktown's best game because people haven't seen what they're going to do yet, so they haven't had a chance to figure them out. That's their shot. If TKO is going to lose a game early, it's going to be the Bricktown Bucks. So, but other than that, the Beefy Boys and the Outlaw Sharks are probably going to run them down pretty hard.
I agree there. All right, now we've got the Beefy Boys. They've got the Bricktown Bucks, BDC, Grit, and the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army. I think this is probably for the teams towards the top of the table. This is the best schedule. They've got Bricktown. They've got BDC. We don't know what version of Grit's going to show up with their light line. And then, they've got the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army at the end for sure. But the other three games, they should be heavy favorites.
Yeah, they're going to – unless some anomaly happens, Grit shows up, plays above their head. Beefy shows up, plays way below theirs. 3-1, Beefy Boys going to run the score up, going to have a really good margin until they run into the Gulf Coast Army wall. And I think they're going to learn and they're going to process, and then we'll see what happens in the next fight.
All righty. And then I believe this is the last one. We've got BDC, Gulf Coast Ragtag Army, Bricktown Bucks, Outlaw Anodizing, and the Beefy Boys. I could see maybe 2-2 here. I think BDC versus Outlaw Anodizing Sharks could be a close one. Bricktown Bucks, they should be winning that game. And then you've got Gulf Coast and Beefy Boys who are towards the top of the table. I do think BDC has played pretty well this year. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But again, there's levels to this. And it's clear that Gulf Coast Ragtag Army is on a whole other level from the rest of the field. And I think that I don't think they're going to pull the upset over Beefy Boys.
No, even though BDC and the Beefy Boys have a long history in the XTPL Champs Challenger Series, and it's probably 50-50. Now, when the Beefy Boys are on, they put a beating on them. When they're not, they usually lose in a close one. So it's just which version of both these teams is going to show up. And that really is that simple.
All righty. So, yeah, that was the last schedule here. So now looking at the bracket, they're taking the top 6. As far as the series race goes, Gulf Coast has a massive lead. All Gulf Coast needs to do is make top 4, which if they go 4-0, they secure a bye, they win the series.
Yeah, it would take a meltdown the size of the jackpot one 2 years ago. So everybody that's chasing series prizes, I'm not going to tell you to forget about it, but you need to concentrate on winning the event.
100%. Yep. Yeah, definitely a great point. It's not unthrowable. It's not like the Russians last year where they literally had already won the series before going into World Cup. You still have to go in and earn your wins here. I think as far as the top 6 out of prelims, looking at the schedules, I do think Gulf Coast is going to be at the top. The 2 seed, the 2 seed is going to be tough. I think it's going to be one of those teams that draw both BDC and Bricktown, which would be here. Let me go back and look. The Sharks drew both BDC and Bricktown. I don't think that they're going to do better than TKO though. So I think as far as I think Gulf Coast is going to get one of the two buys. The question is who's getting the second buy. It could be Evil, could be very easily PB Gateway, could be the Sharks, could be TKO. Any one of those teams. I think in general the top 6 is going to be Gulf Coast at the top, and then in no particular order you're going to have Beefy Boys, Evil, PB Gateway, TKO, and for the last spot in, I'm going to say the Sharks. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for the Donut Shop Mafia. And then obviously, Grit can show up as well, but it's just who's going to get that last seed? Is it Sharks? Is it Donut Shop Mafia? Is it Grit? Out of those 3, I think I want to say Donut Shop Mafia, but it could be any of those 3.
Okay. I think the top 6 is going to be Gulf Coast, Evil, TKO, Beefy Boys. Then this is where we get a little hinky, right? I'm going to say Elite. And then just because it's you, and I think you and Rangel are going to make a difference, I'm going to say PB Gateway.
And I just realized it looks like in these photos for the schedule, I'm not seeing Elite's photo here. So I am going to go back and cover, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I only got 10 pictures. Yeah. So we didn't get Elite. I am going to go back and cover their schedule now. So Elite plays
the Mafia. They play the Gremlins.
Donut Shop, TKO, Evil, and PB Gateway. Yeah. Elite could be that other team as well. Elite versus TDSM is going to could decide their fate. TKO and Evil on your schedule is going to be very tough. I don't think you win both of those games. I could see you possibly winning one of the two. I don't see you coming out winning both of them. And then PB Gateway. Going
2-2.
I'm not going to pick against my own team.
Yeah, but just being honest, what the best they can obviously you can hope for better, but looking at it realistically, you're probably 2-2, and that's going to be a hard get in.
Yeah. They take the top 6 out of 11. So going back here and those of you that are here in the chat, give us who you think are going to be the top 6. Who do you think are going to be the 2 teams that get the buys? In my opinion, Gulf Coast is for sure getting one of the 2 buys. The second buy is very much up for grabs. And then it's going to be some combination of Evil, TKO, Beefy Boys, Gateway, and then the last one's between Sharks, Elite, Grit, maybe TDSM.
Yeah, I think Evil's going to get the second buy. I really do, because the game is going to be, whether they get the buy or not, it's going to depend on whether they beat y'all, whether they beat PB Gateway or not. That's going to really depend, because otherwise I think they get the buy.
All right. You think they'll beat the Super Gremlins? I
do. Stylistically, I think that while I love the Super Gremlins a lot, I think they have too many different looks. And the Super Gremlins, even though they have Colt Lukow, which, is, again, I will stand by the statement. He is great at changing things up on the fly. But Evil has a lot of guns and a lot of different looks. So again, they believe in going fast. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. So that, I think, just about does it. We'll briefly talk about the, brought to us by Hydra. We'll talk about the D6 teams real quick. Again, there's no series to go after in D6, nor should there be. Actually, is there D6?
There is a D6,
but a D6. Okay.
You just got to look on the teams because they don't have their schedule up yet.
Gotcha. All right. So we'll look at all of them here. Just very briefly, because we're already almost 2.5 hours in, and Robert has been very gracious with his time, and my puppy has been very gracious with her time. So we're going to, again, just go through very quickly and then get out of here. If anybody else has anything in the chat that you want us to cover, get it in now, because we're starting to wrap it up. In D6, you've got, first you've got Arizona pole position black. We're going to start sharing this tab. Okay. So you've got Arizona pole position black with Danny Anderson, Colton Arnold, Matthew Dulaney, Jairus Pearson, and Jake Webster, staffed by Andrew Harris and Brent Nielsen. Next, you've got the Chaos Boars with Victor Martinez, Connor McNicholas, Timothy Miller, Colton Neiswanger, and Tyler Rodman. Then you've got Get Shanked from X Factor. You've got Megan Cole Proctor, Dylan Cowan, Samantha Greenway, and Tyler Worthy. Next, you've got GRD, Greed, DeMarcus Bowers, AJ Brown, True Gibson, Jonathan McGill Baker, and Brendan Pollard, staffed by Chris Odom. Then you've got Kill Signal with Nathan Adamson, Cade Barker, Jack Dustin, Daniel Gorecki, and David Kirk, staffed by Ryan Bollinger, Patrick Feeney, and Brandon Lichtenberg. Up next, you've got the LA Extreme, coached by Charles Langlois. You've got Charles Cummer, Bryant Lawrence, Austin Pascal, and Chadwick Thompson, staffed by Anthony Gillett. Then you've got Lithium with Brody Dunaway, Luke Graham, Dylan Overstreet, and Braden Simon over there making an appearance from the Houston 3v3 series.
Bless you.
Thank you. Next, you've got the Rib Squids from Cedar Park, Dakota Bennett, Dominic Holscher, Eric Jones, and William Jones with Shane Grimm and Troy Jones. Excuse me. On staff. Thank you. Next, you've got Sting from Aledo. Only got Lucian Swanson listed here and James Morris on staff. Next, Shut Up or Trying Hydra, Saad Ahmed, Jeremy Willis, and Wesley Willis with Jerry Phillips on staff. Then the Texas A&M University Aggies with Joshua Nelson. Coaching, you've got Alec Real, Xavier Sagoccio, and Sean Wang with Weston Gilliam and Lance Granovicki on staff. Then you've got the Texas Misfits, Timothy Juries, Bryce Juries, and Edwin Ortiz with Tate Estrada on staff. Then you've got the Texas Reapers with William Kahn, Chris Kahn, Billy Kahn, Xander Draper, and Dustin Johnson on staff. Dustin Johnson rounding out the roster. Next, you've got Texas Santa with Maximus Bays, Mickey Brown, and Hunter Martin with Jake Delpy and Nathaniel Sanders on staff. Next, you've got the Texecutioners by PB Gateway, Juan Cantu, Brandon Fan, Dylan Silva, and Paul Silva with Pritchett Shwetongsuk on staff. Next, you got Texecutioners Red by PB Gateway with Trinidad Cantu, Abram Silva, and Justin Shwetongsuk with Pritchett on staff. Next, Texecutioners White. And again, stuff like this where you've got a lot of players on that you're trying to get in. Instead of putting a 10-man roster in D5 and you're only playing 6 or 7 of them and they're all getting points for it, split them all up. Get them field time. That is the biggest thing that's going to help these players. So you've got Texecutioners White, Stephen Mulligani, Peyton Mulligani, and Robert Wilkerson. Next, you've got the TKO Big Steppas Incorporated with Angel Rivera, coaching with Bradley Campbell, Adam Mijares, Jarrett Simmons, and Mason Spikes. And finally, you've got West Texas Chaos with Johnny Coulter, Tyler Coulter, Jonathan Gatlin, and Blake Moore with Michael Jackson on staff. And that does it for all of our teams. So again, one last time, shout out in the comments. Who are you playing for this weekend? Who do you think is going to take the series in each of these divisions? Who are you excited to watch? Do you think Chris Lasoy is going to say something nice about you?
No.
Probably not. So
probably not.
That does it. Robert, thank you so much for your time. Do you have anybody that's caught your attention lately, or who do you think deserves more recognition for what they're doing?
I tell you what, I just want to go publicly and say thank you to Mike and Tracy Hinman. I mean, it's just assumed everybody likes them, and they do all this stuff, but they continually go to make the things better, and I don't feel like they get enough public knowledge. I mean, they went out of their way to get Matty Marshall, and I think some of the people, after they watched the video back of them playing on this field and hearing Matty Marshall call their game, with Chris Lasoya, I think it's really going to hit home about how big a deal this is going to be. And I just want to tell them, hey, thank you. Thank you for trusting me to do the webcast, but thank you for putting in all this effort, the wonderful tents they do, the big money they provide, the rings and stuff, and a place for us to play. Because without them, without somebody doing it, we don't have a sport.
Amen to that. All right. So this one brought to us by the Splat Zone Trinity 3-man. Robert, again, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you this weekend. Do you have any last shout outs or things you'd like to say?
I just want to shout out to Christian. Thank you for continually having me on throughout the season. Again, I think that you do an amazing, amazing job. I'm being serious. If you get a set off, come up there. I'll step away from the booth, let you get in there, because me and you started this thing together when this thing started, and you've done nothing but help me. I appreciate you so much, and I would love for you to be able to come up there and get your little fill of fame too.
I'm mostly just jealous that you just get that wealth of knowledge that's surrounding you this whole weekend.
Yeah.
I hope you take it all in and enjoy every single moment being there alongside Chris Lasoya and Matty Marshall. I'm
going to suck it up like a vacuum cleaner and a sponge. Yes, I am.
All righty. So that does it for our show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to go follow the USXBL on Instagram at USXBL. Also follow Robert Jordan goes live Tuesday mornings at usually around 10 a.m. Central Time over on his Facebook page. What other guests would you like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. The show goes live Wednesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Central here on youtube.com/@Major League Paintball. And recordings are posted to YouTube, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. Quick shout out to my partner and sponsor to your subscribers on Patreon. You've got Get Dat Shot, Paintball Kumite, Bem Raps, Hydra, XTPL Events, Mariachi Aguiles de Oro, the San Antonio 3v3 Series, 71 Designs, TexanHemp.com, and the Splat Zone Trinity 3-man. Lastly, thank you once again to Major League Paintball for hosting this show every week. And we will see you guys next week for episode 163. If you want to be on the show next week, go do something cool this weekend. All right. All right. So that does it. We'll see you this weekend. Robert, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.